And hello everybody to SOS 119. Right here, this is the Tosh speaking. I'll be your streamer and observer for today. We got some wonderful casters lined up for this block while we enjoy my last little stream for a little while, but I will come back for you guys for some jellies. I know everybody loves it, especially the painter jelly, the biker jelly, you guys name it. We have a great tournament today. We gotta introduce our Block 1 casters. It is Kyon and Lily. How you guys are doing today?
To be able to commentate what you show to us. I know that like a lot of people will be hearing Kyon and me talk throughout the tournament, but we wouldn't have this stream without you providing us all the visuals, and I'm absolutely here for it as well. And also I wish you luck during your break as well. Anyway, thank you so much for the introduction.
Thank you.
As Tosh mentioned, I am Lily, short for Lily Gravy Bread, and I'm here with Kyon. How are you feeling today, Kyon?
It's another Wednesday, of course, midway through August, and I'm feeling great. Normal day, of course. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I love Wednesdays. It's my favorite day of the week. Although it is only like Thursday morning. Yeah. But you know that does mean it's another SOS. Technicalities. It's still Wednesday in my heart. It's another SOS, and we'll be taking you through. We'll be taking everyone who's watching through the Nessie's pool, and also I believe the first bracket of Great White, the first match of the Great White bracket. However, the first teams we'll be looking at are going to be GMU Patriots and Marine Melody. Can you tell us a bit about these teams, Kyon?
I certainly can. Marine Melody D is a team a lot of people may recognize them from previous Swimmer Sinks of Once Upon a Time. They're looking to make their mark here, and GMU Patriots, I actually see this is actually a collegiate team here in the US. To my recollection, they have participated in previous league as well. I'm actually really excited. I actually am really excited personally to see a collegiate team make their mark in Swimmer Sink. Though Swimmer Sink has a lot of tough competition for the Patriots. I'd love to see how they perform.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely excited to see GMU Patriots, having seen them play, I believe, a little bit in previous collegiate Cephalopod Association sets. Marine Melody, I feel like has always been here doing amazing things in Swim or Sink, so it's great to see regular faces as well, Kyon.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get these teams that you've seen them, you know them very well from previous tournaments, whether it's here in IPL or many other places. Always great to see them come back. And yeah, for Marine Melody, you know these regulars. They're as I mentioned before, trying to see if they can make it through the Great White bracket sport here in plus 119. And sometimes you get things that are just pick up or just have a fun. Always love to see them.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like we have actually a pretty cool looking lineup of map modes in this first set, actually, with Umami Ruins zones coming up first. Now, let's have a look at these lineup, this team roster we have on GMU Patriots, rather. Nextlation, GMU, that is a long name, Juice and Slug, Marine Melody, Sean Chomp Tombs Karaki, and Lily. This is going to be definitely the matchup of all time, I believe. And on Umami Ruin Zones, this is definitely a bit of a choke pointy map mode, and I think it definitely can come down to how you can break out of that choke point and force yourself out not only into the middle of the map, but also to be able to control the other side's choke point as well. However, if you do have that capability to really come back with whatever retake specials you have or whatever retake strategies you have, you can definitely see a little bit of exciting back and forth here with some pretty long pushes as well, which I'm definitely hoping to see. What about you, Keon? What thoughts do you have about this?
Not so I love to see just many different methods of basically attacking both these zones, as you've alluded to, can get very choke pointy fast, but you also have to deal with a 2-zone map where the zone's rather large. I've seen strategies where teams would like to dish out some of their own comps. I've seen Ultra Stamp weapons being played here, namely the Ultra Stamp to help not only recap zone if needed, but also to help defend. So very, very solid choice that I could see there. But of course, this map also lends itself well to some longer range weapons here, and I have not seen how the Patriots or Marine Melody have cooked so far here. So maybe they may have something to plan for Inumami Ruin zones, but so far I could see pretty much long range and maybe one Ultra Stamp weapon in play. But of course, we could also see your typical inkjet weapons out there, like Ballpoint, one of the more very popular choices at this point in time.
Casters.
Yeah, absolutely, and Ballpoint definitely can be a great way to break out as well.
I have a feature that I've implemented in the stream that we'll see in a second. There's a reason why it's called a Tush Cam.
And I'll be really and at this point though, Lily, especially with something that is going to be cooking up here soon, could very well be a very fun feature named the Tosh Cam, which is hence the title. I would really love to see how all these teams play, as you mentioned, as alluded to before. Ballpoint still one of the better choices. I would also your typical choices really would boil down to Inkjet and the Cooler, as well as we get to see a little bit of our production guy. How you get to see a little bit behind the scenes on the bottom right hand corner of your screen, everybody. See how they control the camera. Let's get started here, Lily. What do you see so far?
Okay, well, I'm actually seeing a pretty short-range comp from GMU Patriots, with effectively the backline being the roller here, with the flings of roller, which, I reckon can work, especially to allow them to slowly move forward with missiles as well. But it does look like one of the players on GMU Patriots has already gone down. Marine Melody is starting to push up, trying to find an opening to control that choke point here.
Yeah. So far they're able to take out a few members, and yet now you have to start pushing some of your advantages at this point. You got the choke point and everything else in play. Now, Patriots' win condition is going to be a little bit fascinating because you got the Slosher and the N-Zap, the regular N-Zap for that matter, two very strong weapons in this current patch. But of course, though, losing 3 members is not going to help their cause, and now you get to see Marine Melody just completely pushed up ahead, and now they've lost a couple more to boot. Their game punishment is some of their aggression there, but I need to see how this comp works out for the Patriots. Marine Melody has a lot of aggression they can take advantage of.
They do, and we're seeing a pretty frontline aggressive Inkjet from Chomp there, being punished by the Flings of Roller, but it does look like that GMU Patriots definitely had an attempt to move in as well, and they definitely played off, as you saw earlier, the missile bubble to try and push them out. It looks like they have tapped the zone and are making that push at the moment, really trying to control this choke point, but being bombed out as well with these fire strikes, allowing Marine Melody to gain a little bit of footing here, Keon.
Yeah, and they take out 3 members. Tomb's able to take out Slug in one of those zones, and now you can see one of those zones get capped, but the other one is left uncontested, at least for now. And then you get to see the Patriots having to respawn, losing both of those zones in quick succession there as well. DRW going down on the NZAP member on Marine Melodies, and really just 1-for-1 trade, but we're starting to lose even more members across the line. And the Patriots are now trying to play very aggressive now. They were actually camping a little bit here. I see Deuce trying to camp, trying to farm and look for that flank. He didn't really need to, as Marine Melody got swamped on the other side, and Patriots able to get the retake there, but they got to get through these penalty points.
Yeah, there are quite a few penalty points still to get through, but I reckon if they can just hold their positions for long enough and manage to evade this inkjet here, they might be able to hold it actually, but with the price that's coming out, it does look like Marine Melody are looking for an opportunity. Once again, not quite being able to get much off of that and only neutralizing the zone, giving more points for GMU Patriots to work through, but Marine Melody does manage to actually cap the zone eventually, but, with all 4 players up, it is going to be a little bit of a back and forth at this moment, I'm predicting. Yeah,
this could be an interesting back and forth. Now you have to keep in mind with the specials that will eventually spawn as make that 3 members going down on the Patriots, and this is going to be a quick retake from Marine Melody, and actually I think it's going to be a delayed wipe action, so Marine Melody can just keep pushing up their advantages. But in terms of the Patriots special usage, this is going to be insanely key. You have to make sure the Junior can get the bubble out to help protect the rest of the team, and then bank on other specials come online, like the Tenta missiles, the Cooler trying to push up more of your aggression. I'd like to see some backup from the Slosher as well as Marine Melody's out of those penalty points. Taking out Slug on the V Junior going down as well, and the Patriots able to get the retake. Toombs might be able to find one, able to take out Nexlation there, but so far they're still trading back and forth. And at this point though, the Patriots at least put Marine Melody in the penalty box, at least in the interim, but let's see if Marine Melody can get themselves out of it. Again, huge back and forth, but DRW going down to Toombs yet again, 2 members going down on the Patriots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is that back and forth that we're definitely seeing. It looks like neither team at the moment can really hold zone for very long, which means that this score of 60-31 seems to be continuing right up until like the last minute of the game. But Marine Melody is going to be capping the zone. They are still being pressured quite a lot by these bombs coming out, as well as GMU Patriots are trying to control the spine in the middle. With 2 players going down Marine Melody, this looks like GMU Patriots might be able to find an opportunity here, but they have to keep their members alive as well. That's the thing, GMU Patriots have been going down quite a few numbers, which has been what Marine Melody has been playing off of to be capping these zones. And if they can just keep their numbers up, we can see that 3 of them down already, then I believe that they can control these zones and control the other team's choke point here.
Yeah, really what it boils down for Marine Melody, keeping both those zones alive, keeping all your members up as much as you can. You have a decent lead at this stage with 20 seconds left to go. Matrix is pretty much on a last-ditch effort. The flings up. Texas DRW going down. Koreki able to get the return, and it's 3 members down. But the Patriots, the respawns are not going to be favoring them big time, leading to a delayed wipe. This is probably going to shut the door on the Patriots' attempt of a comeback here. As Marine Melody, knowing that the time's up, maybe they're trying to go for the retake, but they got to get both of those zones. It's not going to happen just in time. And at this point, though, Marine Melody, they win the first map, Lily, and what even though it was a back and forth, you could get the sense that Marine Melody, with able to win a lot of those fights, pretty much were able to control the tempo and the game, of course.
Absolutely, and I do think that this was still a pretty hard-won fight in any case, as it was definitely not even quite a knockout, even if they did have all of those opportunities to be able to try and move up and gain as much control as they could when 3 or even 4 players, well, almost 4, they didn't quite, I don't think I even saw quite the full wipeout at any point. Players on the Patriots were going down, but, you know, Patriots, even with their bubble and Cooler not being quite the displacement retake tools that are quite as strong as something like an Inkjet, but they did have the missiles, I guess. It was still one of those weapon comps that they were really still able to work with in terms of being able to hold out Marine Melody from pushing up too far ahead.
Yeah, Marine Melody did get stopped on a few moments there, but even so, you get the sense that the way the Patriots been trying to go on those retakes, it just didn't seem to work out well for them. You get to saw Texas going down at not too good moments. The flings will mean that 10 missiles charge is going to take even longer there, which won't allow them to get displaced so easily. So the weapons just didn't seem to work out there, and Marine Melody was able to take advantage here. Now they got to shift their focus into Makomar Target Show, one of my personal favorite maps, and especially the mode in general. Of course, you're going to probably be seeing a lot of the fights happening between the first and that second checkpoint. Getting to that second checkpoint is going to be insanely important, considering where that second checkpoint is relative to spawn. From a weapon prediction standpoint, I don't think there's going to be too many changes. I think Patriots may be looking to fine-tune their composition entirely, but Marine Melody, it worked out for them last time, even though it was kind of a back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't finish on that side.
Yeah, I'm predicting we'll be seeing similar things as well. Marine Melody with the Inkjet ball point as well can be... well, having an Inkjet is of course going to be a very strong choice to have. But also, you know, as you were saying, around the second checkpoint, you still have quite a lot of defensive options if you are the defending team to try and definitely contest the tower on and push the players off. So I'm curious to see, especially with Slosher or something, what can be made of there in terms of at least like flushing out the defenders, or at least trying to flush out whoever's on the tower. It does look like, however, we've got a pretty shootery comp on the side of Marine Melody, and Patriots coming out once again with the Flings of Roller, but also with the N-Try, which I think is a pretty fun choice here, Kyon.
Yeah, so actually, I really like this change from the Patriots here. The Splattershot has been making a big resurgence in recent weeks there, and I think that's a very solid pick along with the Try and Devote. You can play aggressive while still having a cooler in your back pocket. The cooler was also available as well for the Patriots end. So this I really like this change for the Patriots, but for execution wise, that's gonna be insanely important. Their Trizuka being fired out here, only able to get a few shots out, but it looks like, look at the ink control, by the way, from the Patriots end, able to get past the hopefully able to get the tower to that first checkpoint here. Should be able to break through it shortly.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, ping control is something that I've definitely been working on with my team, and it does look like GMU Patriots are doing an amazing job here to secure that first checkpoint as well. It does look like Marine Melody does manage to push them out a little bit, but they need to get Paint in mid at the moment to be able to start moving that tower to that checkpoint that they need to take next.
Yeah, just a little bit of a struggle fest there. Maybe taking out 2 members will help them convert that into some painting, hopefully around the area where the Patriots may be looking for the retake on defense. Again, the Flings are going down. I believe Texas is back on that Flings there. We do see a bit of a duel between the NZAP and the Try. The NZAP wins, losing the T-Tech though. And right now, Marine Melody is able to get past the first checkpoint, and then some more there, and it looks like multiple members going down on the side of the Patriots. In fact, 3 down. This is gonna be the second checkpoint, unless Dexlation can be clutch on this push, but it looks like that will not be the case. Chomp going down. Marine Melody, I don't think he's gonna have too much pushing power left unless Tubes can become clutch. Deuce is pushed too far up ahead, collapsed entirely. Marine Melody still keeping this push alive, Lily.
Ooh, that was unfortunate for Juice going down right there. It does look like this is going to be where Marine Melody can continue their footing, their kind of foothold of the tower for at least a moment. We're going to see these missiles come out. Maybe GMU Patriots can make a play off of this as they start to push up ahead, especially with that bubble trying to take control of the middle of the map as well. It does look like Marine Melody still has their Inkjet. They still have their Tri-Strikes ready to go to try and retake this mid, as well as we go into a bit more of a neutral game. But 2 players have gone down. GMU Patriots, oh my goodness, look at that double there that we see from Chomp.
Yeah, Chomp with a nice little double there, along with an extra member going down, effectively means that Marine Melody can keep pushing their advantages right now. I would love to see more coordinated special usages. If the Trizuka can find value on the side of Patriots, that could be nice, but the Trizuka gets shut down. The NZAP from Koreki strikes again. Marine Melody, though, it looks like they're able to go around this tower, try to navigate their way through. I would like to see again but again, speaking of the Patriots and in terms of trying to be back in the game, I would love to see some more aggression possibly from the Splattershot and the Junyu. You have all the painting in the world. The Try and Devote can also enable the rest of this aggression. I also would like to see if Texas can try to find themselves in safe positions to help farm those 10 missiles and try to force Marine Melody to be displaced. As we saw right there, Tomb's able to take out Texas is just not helping their case at this point.
Yeah, they do have the bubble on the tower, and 2 players did go down Marine Melody though, which means that they're gonna have to try and come back in with this Inkjet. Well, see, Chomp's Inkjet has been popping off this game, I think, which has really been enabling Marine Melody to prevent Patriots from being able to take up too much of the map at the moment. But we are seeing the return with Deuce's Trizuka here being punished by Sean, who's up there taking a Patriot stack as well, trying to at least make sure they have enough high ground to be able to clear out and distract any of Patriots team from the Marine Melody's push back over to the next checkpoint. They only have, I believe, that final checkpoint before they take it to the very end, Kyon. So I'm looking forward to seeing actually what GMU Patriots have to say about this in response.
Yeah, right now the response from the Patriots end has to be not just the first checkpoint, but also the second, as Marine Melody was able to break through this one. As we do see, again, multiple members just going down. Chomp, again, able to find value with the Inkjet, and TX goes down. It's another delayed wipeout here. Patriots is just having a rough go at it. against Marine Melody. We get to see Chomp on that Inkjet, just able to find so much value, just finding 1 or 2 members on multiple occasions. Again, I also have to credit the rest of the team being able to follow up with some timely picks there from Koreki and Tooms just following up suit. And then, of course, Sean, the unsung hero, as 3 members are going down on the Patriots end. Marine Melody is pretty much going to be working their way towards the second map victory here in this playoff 3, Lily. And again, Marine Melody, they got lead and just never looked back.
They did, and it also definitely not just came down to Chomp's Inkjets at the end, which we saw some great Inkjet picks all through that match, but also the way the amount of paint control kind of flipped from being in GMU Patriots' favor early on in the game to Marine Melody towards the end, I think is just a testament to the fact that you definitely got to be alive to control the map with all that paint. But you know, I reckon that Junior was definitely a good or a really fun choice, I have to say. I love playing Junior. I was a Junior main in Splatoon 2, and having the double bombs, having the bubble in Splatoon 3 for power control, and having that immense paint output can definitely work wonders for your team if you can play around that as well. Fantastic job from both teams. Marine Melody taking that second game, but we still have one more game to go through, which will be Rainmaker and Humpback Contract.
Yeah, we still have that third map. Before we touch base on this one, I do want to highlight here. I mean, Marine Melody, both the first 2 maps pretty much have went the same way, where they just get full. Where even though again the points don't really tell the entire story, Marine Melody was just able to shut down a lot of the offensive Patriots had. And pretty much piggybacking off of your love for the vanilla Splattershot Junior, I think it's a very solid pick in tower control for sure. They just kept losing members at just inopportune times, which doesn't allow a push to be sustained so easily. So I would like to see if the Patriots coming into the Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker. I don't know if the Junior is going to be the play. Maybe it would help from a painting standpoint, but when you're considering the Humpback Pump Track being a very fast map and the checkpoints being on the side, I wouldn't be surprised if the Junior gets swapped off here for probably something different. But that's at least my take on that one. I mean, for Marine Melody, I don't think they had to change too much from the previous 2, so I wouldn't be surprised if they stick to the same strategy here.
Yeah, actually, I do expect at least for Patriots to continue playing that end try, because, you know, that is definitely a very, very good choice for Rainmaker in general. Not only do you have the bomb, the fizzy bomb to help with Pulps to help clear out certain areas that you really need to be taking the Rainmaker through, and also like really apply that pressure, that chip damage pressure at the very least from where the other team's going to be defending from. But as you said, the V Junior is probably gonna. I reckon you're right. I reckon that might be something that they might swap out here, because as you said, it is fast and there's not a huge amount of, from my experience anyway, there's not a huge amount of very effective full spots, but you do have the elbow/window area to work your way through as well. It does look like actually they do have the Junior, so I'm curious to see what they bring out here. They have a very short range comp with the Wiper Deco coming out as well to give them. Wow, that was an incredibly quick pop with 2 players actually going down on GMU Patriots at the moment.
Yeah, the quick pop is also the fact that this is Humpback Pump Track. It's a very condensed map. Just quick movement to the center on the Rainmaker was pretty much allowing that. I wanna break down GMU Patriots change here. It's actually from the Flingza to the Wiper Deco. Different Tenna missile weapon this time, as Cranky should be able to get the first checkpoint there, as Marine Melody able to pressure them out. The goal is you gotta play very aggressive on the Patriots end. You are so short range. You gotta navigate your way around the ball point holder in Chomp. They have an Inkjet, available. They pop this Inkjet. It's 2 members down, and Koreki picks up the Rainmaker in their side, and it looks like, however, they're not able to get more of them in. I think Marine Melody was trying to be a little bit more patient with this maneuver there, as the bomb takes out Chomp by the end of it. But it looks like so far, though, Marine Melody, maybe a little bit slow, maybe a little bit more methodical, as we do see these jumps getting punished out. They still are holding on to this Rainmaker on Koreki's end, Lily.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Kion. What we're seeing, I believe, from Koreki is a fairly patient play, knowing that they don't want to start pushing in too quickly, because the amount of bomb pressure that Patriots have can definitely cause this push to break down. They are going for the checkpoint. They do actually lose it with only 1 point left to go, but I believe 3 players even went down at one point. This is going to be where Patriots are going to come back, but the thing is, Kion, they have to get a knockout if they want to win this.
Yeah, I want to heavily credit the play from Marine Melody there. Again, very methodical, very slow play. That's what you need to do, especially especially in this map. The respawns are just going to be heavily favoring the Patriots on defense. They're basically waiting for multiple members to go down before they push too far up. As Chomp able to take out one, but Kareki did go down on the other side. So again, very patient play, allowing it to be 1 point rate. Effectively, Patriots you need to get a knockout. That there's still a decent amount of time, but again, this very short range aggressive comp needs to find some angles to pick out the ball point, especially from Chomp. And Chomp will probably try their best to see if they can play as safe as possible.
Yeah, with such a short range comp as well, it can be very, very difficult to be able to maintain your ground, to maintain your real standing and pressure on a map when even one player starts going down. Whereas if you do have a longer range weapon like a ballpoint, at least you have the ability to get those jumps back in with the rest of your team kind of coming back. But it does look like 2 players have gone down on Marine Melody, 3 players on Patriots. They pick up the Rainmaker here though, which is interesting. I'm curious to see what their plan is here. They try to take it around the side, but getting punished immediately by Chomp. He's looking for another pick, not quite getting it on Deuce here, but they do fall back. It looks like they are going to be trying to get that pop as well, which Marine Melody does, but this is going to be a difficult position for Marine Melody, I believe, as Patriots may be able to eventually go for this checkpoint if 3 of them don't go down.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Patriots were pretty much caught off guard in the worst location. I think they were trying to play a setup there that allowed the checkpoint to get broken around, but the Marine Melody just pretty much read that the entire way through. As you do see the 10 missiles going out on the side of Patriots, pretty much going to try to displace them a bit. Taizuka's being fired from all directions, and it looks like Deuce may have been able to take out the T goal, but that's all that's gonna be, as Tex is not able to slam it home. Just a little bit short. Insanely clutch defensive stop there from Marine Melody, and now the Marine is in a better position. Deuce cannot also slam it home. Sean shuts him down, and now it's 2, make that 3 members going down. Patriots could have gotten the checkpoint, but Marine Melody was just all over the pedestal, and down to a minute left to go. Marine Melody should be in the driver's seat.
Oh my goodness, we saw those 2 attempts coming out from Team Patriots, only for them to go 3 players down at the moment. And look at how much ping control Marine Melody has. All they really need to do in the last 50 seconds of this game is keep it safe. Chomp coming out, getting those picks again, as Chomp does, getting another one. Looking for a 3rd even, making sure they are still safe enough in their as they return back to their jump spot. With the Rainmaker neutralized, I want to be able to see Team Patriots get a little bit more ping control. They have the bubble to protect them with getting this pop, but they're going to be pressured by Chomp here. They really need to flush out Marine Melody from the middle of the map, because it just looks like Marine Melody is just winning these fights. The moment, it's a 2v2 at the moment, however, and Genie Patriots still picks up the Rainmaker, maybe hoping they can bring this into overtime to at least get that checkpoint. But the thing about this is that they need to be able to hold that. Unfortunately, they go down the account. It doesn't look like they are able to continue this anymore. With 2 players have gone down, they do try and pick up the Rainmaker again, but this is going to be a very, very uphill battle for the rest of this overtime. It does look like in the end, however, Marine Melody does manage to take out the Rainmaker, giving them the set 3-0 against the GMU Patriots.
But and I gotta give credit to Toombs. Toombs found an opening right at dead center in Humpback Pump Track. That was basically where the Patriots were positioned themselves in. Just great movement all around to be able to get the final splat onto the holder there for the Patriots. And yeah, the Patriots definitely gave such a huge effort. Pretty much had to give Marine Melody a huge fight in order to win all 3 of those maps. But the Patriots just 1 step behind. And yeah, I even though we've been talking about this a lot throughout Pump Track Rainmaker, the short range comp, I mean, it was just a major range difference, and with the way Chomp's been playing on that ballpoint, it was just very difficult to work around. So again, Marine Melody winning this one 3-0 and in matches that I think were a lot more closer than what the scoreline seems to be, but at the same time, Marine Melody was able to get very decent leads and never look back.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. GMU Patriots, I do believe, managed to play extremely well against Marine Melody, being able to hold them off from any opportunity for them to really get a knockout in these games. So this 0-3 or this 3-0, depending on which perspective you're looking at, it doesn't tell the full story. But however, this has been an incredible story to watch, Kyung.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, so So final score again: Marine Melody 3, George Mason Patriots, or GMU Patriots 0. The secluded team will have to go back to the drawing board in future sets to see if they can win any more there. It looks like, however, we may be getting our second matchup ready here soon, and if the bird has told me anything, I don't know what bird I could be referencing to, but I just wanted to. That was the first animal I thought in my head. It would be Grillers versus Jelly Squids going to be coming up here shortly, Lily, and that's going to be a very fascinating matchup. Grillers, a team that has been regulars not just in Swimmer League, but also probably in other tournaments there too. Jelly Squids, we get to see them again, pretty much the same way.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this. I know that the Gorillas have definitely made a big mark. I believe that this year they changed up their roster a little bit, but I'm curious to see what they bring out in these next matches as well. Jelly Squids and Gorillas both have very, very strong Splatling players, Kion.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be really excited to see I guess in general what kind of how they play Splatlings around the 3 maps that we got coming up here. Lily, I think the first map we're about to see, which is gonna be Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz, might be a very solid choice. Same with the second one, Hagglefish Zones. I think those 2 maps will be very indicative of how well they can play the Splatling around some of those terrain areas. So I'd love to see good Splatling play as well, although my heart really wants to see awesome Tri-Slosher play. That's just a dream of mine. But that being said, I would love to see just some excellent mid to backline play. Again, the unsung heroes of every team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe, however, that like, I reckon Tri-Sloshers in general are in a very, very good spot in the meta at the moment, Kion. Especially how we have seen in those last couple of games the N-Tri come out, and it's a great weapon. It's got Tacticooler, which is, even though it's a little bit more of a selfish Tacticooler than an N-Zap, at least you have that on your team. You can play off of that really well. And also being able to pressure those ledges to be able to really help punish any unfortunate positionings, or punish any positionings on the defending side, especially here on Clan Blitz, as I know there are a few little ledges to play around. I gotta say, however, I'm a shooter player, and I really enjoy the really small ledges. I think there's like a lot of really fun movement options you can have here to kind of catch people off guard, and to kind of like try and be a little bit unpredictable with your movement here, especially when you've got a mode like Clan Blitz, where you're really playing around with being able to move around as efficiently and as effectively as possible during those fights.
And I think the way to navigate around those 2 is going to be insanely key, though. You said you were a shooter player. That's not going to sit well with me here, Lily, because I love excellent bucket play. So we're not going to be. So hang on, I'm going to make sure that we're not going to be friends with Lily after this. No. All jokes aside, here, from all perspectives here, with all the maps especially, I mean, with the Slosher, Slosher's great to just being able to work around the ledges there too. Any shooters that can basically work around, some of the terrain not on all the maps they have coming up. I mean, they're gonna be ready for Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz, Hagglefish Zones, I believe, and then the last map being Manta Maria Tower Control. So I think you will probably be seeing not just love of every Splatling that these 2 teams have, but also our love and all of our mains here with of course, any shooter weapons and bucket weapons galore. But of course, maybe these teams have something else cooking up strategy-wise.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they are cooking up. However, we are looking at the rosters at the moment. It's gonna be exciting to see. I'm curious to see what they bring to the table, because honestly, I'm not even quite sure myself.
So that's a fun dynamic for teams that may not be too familiar, and the viewers out there as well, when they get a first taste of either of these teams. We get to see weapons that maybe these teams love to play. Maybe it's just something off their primaries. Maybe something they're just trying to cook up in a tournament. Maybe SOS being a very good tournament to do so, at least in my personal opinion. So I would love to see how both these teams, player-wise, what weapons they want to dish out in each tournament. Now, you mentioned the players as well. Some very familiar names, especially from the Grillers end. Nito and Devi are the 2 I would love to see just make a lot of noise in all these matches. for sure. And then Jelly Squids, I mean, we've probably seen this team on multiple different tournaments in the past. I would love to see how Jelly Squids together as a team are able to take on these 3 maps.
Yeah, especially with the very strong. I mentioned before the strong Splatlings, Mark and Devi on either side. But I do believe Devi. I'm curious to see what she brings to the table, as I know that she has been playing a variety of other weapons too, which is going to be very interesting to see what grillers have been cooking up on the grill, shall we say? Anyway, so.
You actually caught me off guard with that. Maybe you know what? It's in the middle of summer, Lily. Maybe the grillers are trying to not just cook up something weapon-wise. Maybe they're hosting a barbecue party later on as well. Maybe they're just trying to make sure. Okay, we gotta get these ready for guests. But also we gotta make sure we gotta make sure that this weapon choice works out super well in all these 3. Hey, maybe this could work out. Maybe we got to go back to the drawing board. Maybe we got to find some other ingredients too, or weapons per se that can work around this comps. I would love to see. I would love to see them just cook up something totally wild as at that nature, Lily.
Yeah, absolutely. I do still expect that at least for a couple of these games we're going to be seeing the classic ballpoint coming out as well. Especially for Splatoon Tacklefish Market, because you know those inkjet spots up on those 2 pillars or stacks on the side can be super powerful at scoping out the players who might be trying to break back in their attempts to defend the push from the attacking team as well. But you know, Clam, Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime, there are some pretty good spots for not just ballpoint in terms of being able to set something up in a really good, strong backline kind of position, but start moving ahead with the mobility and survivability you have quite up in the air as well. So I'm curious to see what happens here.
I mean, you do highlight the second map here in Hagelfish Market Zones. That's a very inkjet-friendly map. So I definitely agree. You could be seeing ballpoints across the board if both teams have that ballpoint specialist ready to go. Maybe some other not just other ballpoints. There's only one. There's only one ballpoint weapon going. But no, we could be seeing other inkjet weapons in Hagelfish Market zones there as well. But just to rewind a little bit back here to Barnacle and Dime Clan Blitz, I wouldn't be surprised if Inkjet does make their appearance again. It's a special that I think is just going to be making a lot of waves, especially in the recent patches for sure. Yes, it got toned down a little bit, but it's still very strong. It's still a special that is definitely worth playing if you have that player that can specialize in it. Barnacle and Dime, we mentioned ballpoint, not just covering range, but also inkjet usage. I think it's going to be a perfect choice, but I also would not be shocked if, as you mentioned, mobility, you could be seeing multiple weapons that can play very short range, very combat in your face, along with the cooler, again, to help aid on that mobility. I think there's really a lot of different ways that both teams can approach this. Really, any weapon almost goes, except if you're messing with us in any different regard.
Yeah, I feel like when you were talking about mobility and stuff like that, I was wondering if you were alluding at all to like even the tri-sloshes, either the N-try or the V-try here, because the V-try, exactly, yeah, I think I may have been reading your mind a little bit there.
Yep.
Yeah, I do I do hope to see some, I actually really hope to see a bit more V-try play across a bunch of tournaments, because I know not only does it have inkjet, and not only can it set up in really aggressive positions, and I do believe it can benefit very, very well from having tactical on your team as well. So and as a shooter player, as a support shooter, I've become a bit of an end zapper, so I do want to help like enable the rest of my team with that tactical whenever I can as well. So I do hope to see maybe a little bit of that as well here on Clan Blitz, Barnacle and Dime.
I think you're gonna get your NZAP across the board. We've seen a lot of NZAP plays in previous maps, and it's a very popular choice there too. But also to mention, I again, my heart really wants tri-sloshers on the board. It will always be a decent state. But also to answer your point, the vanilla tri is a great choice if you want that aggressive inkjet play. But that's also one of your slots up front with in terms of how aggressive in short range you want your entire team to be. As we're about to load into here, Griller's going to be on the orange side, Jelly Squid's going to be on the purplish bluish side on Bravo's end, and we do see the Blob Blobber. I've seen Grillers play Blob Blobbers in in recent times too, so this is not a surprise. But of course, you alluded to a Splatling play. We got the nice, we got that heavy Splatling deco on board for the Grillers.
Yeah, the heavy deco, sometimes also abbreviated to Devi, I believe. I believe we're going to be seeing that come out on the Gorillas side as well. It does look like we are seeing, actually, the Gorillas try and take up a bit of space if they can, but it does look like they are being pressured back by Jelly Squids, especially with that Toxic Mist. However, it does look like with the rain, with that Ink Storm coming out, they're still trying to hold this mid here. It is a little bit of a neutral fight with Jelly Squids rotating around to their straight as well to see if they can make some headway, but being pushed out by Parappa, and also that that crab as well. It does look like they do go down. There is a trade that happened there, but 2 plays have gone down on Jelly Squid as well. The Gorillas taking up quite a lot of ground to get that first push of the game in, Kion.
Yeah, they gained a lot of ground super fast there. We saw the blob just trying to move way up ahead and trying to find some of the angles of that they were trying to find with some of their shots, just not quite there. And Parappa got caught out entirely. Tora with a nice little find there, but it looks like it's going to end at around 50 points range, pretty much exactly halfway to the finish line there with 25 points in the penalty box for that initial push. A good push by Grillers. I do want to break down a little bit of the comps here from both sides. No end zap, so there's going to be no cooler love on I guess either team at this point in time, but I love to see some great cracking usage from Debbie trying to build space with the Deco, just not able to find any movement though, but able to find a pick onto Tora as well. And it looks like even with that pick though, Jelly Squids are just trying to be a little bit more defensive until they got that face first with the crab.
Yeah, you know what? Is definitely what I will be seeing if I am face to face up against that crab, which was like really being like creating a very, very strong presence up in that choke point, just right in front of Jelly Squid's core. It does look like the Gorillas have quite a lot of ground once again. Just trying to make sure that they can just provide enough of dangerous presence that Jelly Squid does not want to engage them at the moment. But Tora already coming out with the Inkjet, getting a great pick. Maybe they can make a little bit of a play off this. They do happen to go down here, and it is a 3v3, and another player does go down on the side of Jelly Squids as the Gorillas comes out once again with those tri-strikes and really taking control again here, Kion.
Yeah, right now Jelly Squids is just having a hard time just getting past any part of the middle side of the map there, and multiple members just continue to go down. This is going to continue to sustain this push if they can find the clams, and it looks like the clams are going to be coming in a little slowly, but at least it's going to keep this basket open in the meantime. Of course, on the crab tank, able to find out some members there as well, ultimately going down soon, but they got 1 clam to go before the 100-0. They just got to find the lone clam, but the lone clam is not anywhere nearby, and no Grillers near the basket. Jelly Squids barely, and I mean barely, get to live another day.
Yeah, it was just that one pick on Devi at that final opportunity for anyone on the Gorillas to be able to create an opening to come in. But Devi coming back, unfortunately going down once again, trying to get revenge on that punishment that happened just before. We're seeing Tora here trying to create some space for Jelly Squids because they really need to get a single push in the game still in order to make any headway, in order to tell the Gorillas that the game is not over yet.
Yeah, basically Jelly Squids is just having a rough go at it. There's just so much range because you look at the weapons at face value there as of course gets the double right as we were trying to allude into anything there. What I was gonna mention is that the Jelly Squids is just being met with a lot of range. If you look at it on paper, the deck of the Blob Lover has so much, but you have to factor in the splash. It's a crab tank. There's just so much range coverage on the Grillers end, and it just shuts and the crab tank from taking on 2 members in that quick succession, and that power clam has disappeared entirely on the side of Grillers, so no extra powerful push, but Jelly Squids got pushed back by a lot.
Yeah, they did get pushed back and even actually got wiped out there by the Gorillas, who are going to be holding their ground here, trying to find that opportunity to get that last
Where's the
clam
one?
in. It does look like in the last 30 seconds if they can find it. We're seeing actually the Kraken come out just to clear out this area. Nito is going back to try and find that clam, but it looks like the barrier actually goes back up. So maybe they couldn't end the game early here, but with only 15 seconds left, it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that they're going to be going away anytime soon for that final clam. It does look like, however, the Jelly Squids in their final desperate effort to try and push back, 2 plays do go down, and it does look like the Gorillas in the final overtime push, they are going to be having this game for themselves with getting a great pick, looking around for another one just to stop the Jelly Squids from being able to do anything here. Does look like with that power clam, they take the game.
Yeah, Growler's able to get a cool and controlled game one in their favor, and I keep mentioning before, Jelly Squids just had a hard time wrestling themselves out of base. Anytime they try to do that, they've been met face first with either a crab or a splash from Ah's end, and then Debbie just wreaking havoc with the heavy deco as well as just made things so difficult for Jelly Squids to just get out, just break through of what the Growlers had at that line. So really, Growlers just played that one excellently, just so well controlled from start to finish. And yeah, even though both pushes, one clam could have sealed the KO on them, they'll happily just take the victory as it is. So no extra KO for shininess in the record books, but Growlers will easily take that first map.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to see what Jelly Squids have in response to this amazing range that the Gorillas have been able to show on their weapon comps as well. And I know that range in Splat Zones and Hagglefish Market is kind of the name of the game here. You have some really good points to set up, not just a leader like we saw in Jelly Squids, but also, as we even mentioned before, a ball point which has that Inkjet. Inkjet also very strong on this map as well, but yeah, I'm really hoping to see what Jelly Squids have in response to the Gorillas. I'm expecting that, like, considering how Jelly Squids were playing in that first game, really trying to push out with that Inkjet, we might be seeing that Inkjet come back, and perhaps even if they can provide a little bit more support for the Inkjet, we might be able to see an even stronger headway, an even stronger amount of control over the map from the side of Jelly Squids here.
I would, and to add to that, there is an Inkjet weapon that was played from the previous map on Jelly Squids, and I believe that was the vanilla try, if I am not mistaken there, which of course by all definitions is an Inkjet weapon, but again, they have to figure out how to get around this very long range setup that the Growlers had last time. Now, they could easily change things up for this map. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Debbie goes to something different, but at the same time though, that was a major range difference from the previous map. You had the Bloblobber, the heavy deco, the V-Splash, which in turn would be the crab later on, if that V-Splash able to get the specials out there from of course. So there is so much range but with this particular map alone, there is a lot of opportunities to just completely surprise your opponents from the other side as well. You have the side pass to work with. So I think Jelly Squids might be able to take full advantage of it. If you compare from Barnacle and Dime to this one has a lot more flankish routes to work with, so maybe this could be fundamentally different here. And at this point, though, it looks like it's actually going to be some slight differences on the end of the Growlers, but I think Jelly Squids are keeping the same thing this time.
Yeah, actually, and we're seeing Devi switch over to the Hydra as well. Definitely a familiar weapon that we've seen her play, but with the later on the side of Jelly Squids, I'm curious to see how they manage to set that up to clear out the zone in mid. It does look like Gorillas managed to take this first cap and are really trying to find a way to kind of push back in. We're seeing them kind of being held out a little, not just from the Inkjet, but also a little bit from that wave breaker as well. But they haven't let go of this zone just yet, John.
Yeah, because the rest of the Growlers is just collapsing all over to the zone. And well, as soon as I say that, though, it looks like Rhea was able to get a few picks, and then of course the Tri-Suka from the shot itself was able to surprise the Growlers that way. So Jelly Squid's able to get the nice little take even on that side. So at least at this point though, Jelly Squids, they should be able to hold this lead at least in the interim. They can paint over all the specials that were thrown, and they should be able to, but maybe the Growlers may be able to put the Jelly Squids back in the penalty box, and they do. And Jelly Squids, to add insult to injury, lose 3 members on top of it as well. Grillers should be able to assert even more control.
Yeah, but even with that crab tank going down, actually, I've got to say, that's probably the one who's screaming now at this point. But however, they do manage to get quite a lot of control. Now, I think this is the most control, I believe, that the Gorillas have had in the game. We can see them move all the way up ahead, knowing that they need to be able to hold this zone for the next half of the countdown. It does look like we are seeing those tri-strikes coming out as well. Jelly Squid's being kind of pushed back here. They need to find an opportunity with these double wave breakers at least to be able to swing a fight in their favor, to be able to start moving up ahead.
I don't know about the place of those double wave breakers, because yes, you push them out from pushing further into your territory, but the zones is still within Griller's favor right there. And in fact, Griller should be able to hold on to the zone. The last wave bomb to just totally recap it. And just like that, Lily, it's the second map going to the Grillers. Jelly Squids had a decent take from the first go-around there by taking on multiple members and then able to push them out entirely with a 2-member down situation we saw earlier. But Grillers able to fight back, and the great special coordination with the triple link strikes and the blue bombs right deaded zone meant that they were able to get the zone back and then take it out 3 afterwards on the driver's seat the entire time.
Absolutely, this was a very clean victory for the Gorillas, even if they weren't able to push up too far ahead in the first push. But, you know, being able to retake from the Jelly Squids the way they did, especially, as you mentioned, the Booyah Bomb and Tri-Strike coordination definitely working together to make sure that not only could they cap the zone when they needed to, like at the very end, but also to be able to prevent Jelly Squids from having any room to breathe in defending their spawn area as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, basically, even with the Gorillas changed to the Flingza and the Hydra, I think it worked out even better on that map alone there. Jelly Squids tried to stick to what they thought could work in this one. The Gorillas had them the entire time. And now entering to Manta Maria target control, I actually would not be surprised if Devi goes back to the heavy deco. I think that might be more conducive to how this map shapes out entirely. But at the same time, though, I've been surprised before with trying to predict any Splatling picks in a certain pass. So maybe Devi will be dishing out something totally different. Maybe we could see a different, maybe we could see the third different Splatling on that end. But Jelly Squids just got to continue to solve the riddle of how to solve Grillers. Just non-stop attacks and just trying to find themselves in positions to stay alive and then keep finding those picks.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think you're not wrong about Kraken. I also believe that here in Tower Control Manta Maria, this can be a very back and forth tug of war. I say this every time Manta Maria Tower Control's on, but this is the tug of war. This is the tug of war map mode in Splatoon 3 at the moment. And I do believe, actually, I wouldn't even be surprised if Devi continues with the Hydra Spotling, just to have that Booyah Bomb to be able to clear around that elbow, around like into the street area as well behind Jelly Squid's bunker, if they manage to push that far quite early on, which I do expect might actually happen, considering the amount of range and the amount of map control they've been able to play with off of that. But you know what, Jelly Squids, if they are playing for the survivability, if they are playing to punish those backlines, to punish that range, they could definitely be a fierce opponent here. Kion will be going in and seeing the weapon comps at the moment, actually.
Yeah, so we're about to see the weapons, and actually Nito makes the change over to what I believe is that I believe that's the regular blaster, which we've seen blaster plays in Tower Control. It's a very typical pick, but at long last, Lily, this set we have a ballpoint appearance here, and actually on the side of Jelly Squids, 1 inkjet wasn't enough. Let's see if we can make it work with 2.
Yeah, 2 inkjets. I'm hoping to see how they can chain these together to really create a good pathway for the rest of their team. However, it does look like the Gorillas have already got quite a lot of control and are pressuring their bunker as well. But you know what? The Jelly Squids is really going to be trying to come back off of that with those Tri-Strikes. Unfortunately, not having much of an effect here, as Devi's already pushed quite up ahead in Jelly Squid's bunker. We can see, as you know, you mentioned the Blaster. The Blaster is definitely a good choice on Tower Control for that bubbler, and also here with those ledges that you're going to be playing off of, the area of effect weapons such as that Blaster is definitely going to be having a good time here, creating a dangerous presence against Jelly Squids. It does look like Jelly Squids is going to still be having a little bit of a hard time trying to come back out of this court at the moment.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same story as the previous 2. It's the Grillers taking decent control of the map. map there, but it looks like Rose can't break through the second one as Vex gets a double off of this one, but going down almost near instantly. On the crab tank, putting fears into Jelly Squids, and so you got the pop-off on the Trizuka. No, the crab's gonna pop off with a double their own. Trade of doubles all around, but keeps the push alive, and more importantly, breaks through the second checkpoint, Lily. Even though Jelly Squids looked like there was some signs of life, shut down by a lone crab tank in the tower.
Once again, I'd definitely be using if I'm up against at this moment. 2 plays have gone down, however, on the side of the Gorillas, but they are going to be trying to come back in as quickly as they can. It does look like, actually, Jelly Squids is going to be playing more of a patient game to try and find those opportunities to be able to retake mid, which they really need at this moment to be able to get anything going for them, because that Ink Storm coming out from the Gorillas is definitely just going to be providing that chip damage that they do not want to have to deal with at this point.
Absolutely, and actually just something to really quickly keep in mind here in terms of the weapon changes. There's actually 3 weapons that were swapped up on the Grillers, and Paraba's back on that Blob Bobber, and Debbie's actually on her 3rd different Splatling, by the way. The regular heavy Splatling has 3 members going down on the side of Jelly Squids, and Paraba caps it off with the delayed wipe. Actually, this is going to be possibly the 3rd checkpoint there, as well as the crab tank from strikes again, and then it's 2 members going down. This is going to likely be Grillers taking this one all the way home, unless the Tri-Slash can do something about it. Can Tora find the peg? No, not at all, but Oz gone from the tower, and Debbie's all the way up on top. This tower slightly resets, and we could see Paraba probably trying to take this one home, and they should be able to. It took a little bit of extra time this time, and the wipeout for Style Lily through all 3 maps going on the side of Grillers.
Yeah, that wipeout for Style, as you say, I think they almost could have had that straight home run at the very end, but Jelly Squid still put up a very good fight, applying that constant pressure, especially not just to the tower right, and I think that was a great pick on as well, but being able to at least have Devi up there to return that pressure against Jelly Squids with her Splatling as well definitely helped secure that win in the end, especially when R was able to also provide that pressure with the crab tank when possible as well. But that was a very, very well played set from both of these teams, Kion.
Absolutely, and even though the scoreboard, you're gonna see 3-0 on the side of the Grillers, pretty much the same story. I think Jelly Squids, there were some signs of life we saw from the first 2 maps there. Or I think the first 2 maps for sure from Jelly Squids. I think they had almost something that was going for Tora, Diamond, and Rhea and the rest of the group, trying to make something work. It just didn't seem to favor them too much. The Grillers, I think Grillers' game plan was just so good the entire way through. You got to saw just completely popping off on the splash and the crab tank to boot there. I do got to give a lot of credit though. Vex on the side of Jelly Squids, nearly trying to save this one for their team at the end, but then of course all hopes had to be dashed away by a crab tank at any point in tournament style. So again, Jelly Squids, they definitely fought super valiantly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do want to say, however, I do think that the Gorillas weapon comp had something strong going for it in every single choice that they had in that game. You did mention the crab tank. You did mention the heavy deco as well. Sorry, not the heavy deco, just the normal heavy Splatling as well. But I also think that having the blaster online, and I did mention before, but having the blaster just for the area effect, being able to really clear out those any high ground areas, any of those ledges as well, and also having that bubble online when needed, definitely helped the Gorillas secure those first couple of checkpoints as well, going into the other team's straight here.
Yeah, it was just really excellent play all around from the Grillers. So again, GG, well played to both teams. Grillers going out of this one 3-0. We're actually about to queue up for our third set. So Lily, we're just gonna keep going right along. Both teams should be ready here shortly. It's gonna be Whiprays versus Permafrost being the teams here in question, as we're gonna get the rosters up here shortly for either of these squads. And I think, if I'm not mistaken here with Permafrost, unless I'm thinking of a different team. I think I am thinking of a different team, unfortunately. Both these teams, though, I'm going to be really curious to see how they play out here in this third set, now they've gone past the first 2.
Yeah, I'm curious to see as well. Actually, want to see. Hang on, this is the Whiprays against.
It is gonna be Whiprays versus Permafrost. To our information, the rosters will be coming up here shortly. There they are. They have arrived.
There we go. They have arrived.
The biker squid from a or biker jelly, not biker squid. Sorry, the biker jelly was able to deliver the message to us just in time. Just got held up by other news delivery there. So yeah, there's the roster from the Whiprays and Permafrost. I'm just gonna be really excited to see how both these teams dish out. I think I do recognize a few members from Permafrost as well, and Whiprays. I believe a mainstay as well on Swimmer Sank's end.
Definitely, I've definitely seen the Whiprays play a lot here, and also a number of familiar names as well on Permafrost. Like you said, we do have Lemon, Asta, of course, Reese. I don't think I recognize everyone there, but I'm curious to see what they do bring to the table. On the side of the Whiprays, Cuba, Rhythm, Eon, Fish, Riddy, and Sofa King. I've seen them around as well. This is going to be definitely a fun matchup, I gotta say. Kion, what sort of things are you expecting here?
So, I actually had to dig up the records so far that Whiprays and Permafrost had. Now, this could be considered fascinating information. Both teams, unfortunately, have gotten blanked out by their oppositions in the first 2 rounds. Both of these teams are going to be looking for their first set win, if I'm reading the records correctly here. So, I mean, I think they're going to be here. They're going to be here trying to make sure they can take this one home in this third set. Of course, third set's going to be the one that matters most. Undertow Spillway Rainmaker's going to be coming up here, Lily. So, again, I believe they've been blanked out in the first 2 rounds both these teams have. So, let's see if they can show up here and get their set started off strong.
Oh yeah, it's always exciting to see any team's opportunities to win their first set in a game. I gotta say, it's definitely gonna be exciting feeling, especially for both of these teams, knowing that one of them is gonna be coming away with a win out of this. So we will be seeing first Rainmaker, Undertow, Spillway, second Clambled, Scorch Gorge.
You're close.
Scorch Gorge. And then Splat Zones and Museum d'Alfonsino. These are 3 map modes. I'm looking at these and I'm feeling the love. I love it when these come into rotations, and I love playing on these in a competitive environment as well. I feel like Rainmaker, Undertow, Spillway can definitely show off what your team can do in terms of coordinating, being able to even create a bit of a distraction when possible, being able to quickly move into those defensive areas, either up around that if you're on the defending side, on that right side area around the grills as well, being able to quickly move there, and even being able to, if possible, create some of those flanks as well to try and stop the Rainmaker from moving up ahead. But you know what, it definitely comes down to being able to push ahead through those unpaintable areas if you want to really go for the knockout win, and it can be definitely a tricky thing to do, I have to say, especially when you are up against a very strong defense. But you know what, Rainmaker, Undertow, Spillway, definitely solid. Clamblitz, Scorch Gorge, another favorite of mine, can definitely take a little while to get going, but once it does get going, you can get some of those really impressive pushes in. And Splat Zones, Museum d'Alfonsino, I feel like I can talk about these 3 map modes all day. You're gonna have to stop me from rambling at some point, John.
Yeah, don't worry. Maybe I'll be the person to get you to be super excited about all 3 of these maps. But we do want to break this one a little bit further here. Yeah, back to the first map here before I continue on with the next 2. I think it's really going to boil down to execution, because the first checkpoint, a lot of teams are going to either take the leftmost path, but if they can basically take out multiple members, and I know I've been alluding to a lot of them, important in how many multiple members go down in specific team fights around the arena. But this is especially one of those cases, because the left checkpoint is gonna be the safest. Right checkpoint, very risky. If you can take out multiple, it's gonna be a free checkpoint that you can just take opportunistically, and I think it will be a lot faster than I would like to believe compared to that one. But don't be surprised if all the combat happens on your left hand side. So that again, important thing to know is that first checkpoint. The fight around for that first checkpoint is gonna be insanely key. And yeah, everything past that is gonna be unpaintable, so it's gonna be very tricky to get through. If the team continues to execute there, you could be seeing a KO rather here shortly. So, for everybody listening in, pay attention to how the first checkpoint battles go through.
Absolutely. I have to say, I've got a slightly embarrassing story about Rainmaker, Undertow, Spillway. In the first tournament I played, which had Rainmaker on Undertow, Spillway on, I remember the team, and it was a draft tournament, right? And the team said we gotta take the left checkpoint. I picked up the Rainmaker and I went right.
I mean,
And I was
did it
thinking,
work
no.
out? I mean, did it work out again?
I can't quite remember. I think we got the checkpoint, but I don't think we won the game. And I constantly think, I wish I took it left. I wish I took it left. If we set up left, then we could take it left. But it does come down, as you said, to the execution. And I think that if you know your left from rights, you can make the execution work.
I mean, again, the right checkpoint is gonna be the quickest path to it. And again, it could just be a free checkpoint, and then just continue to fight around left, try to go for more control there. I definitely see where you're coming from, though. Maybe the pains of everything happening there, maybe it might play out here. We're hoping that it doesn't play out just for you, of course, Lily. But I would love to love to see how each team approaches this map overall.
Yeah.
At the same time,
it can be difficult when you do take it to that right checkpoint to be up against the team that, because their respawn is quite close. So they have quite a lot of power over you if you take it there. And if you do even manage to get that checkpoint quite quickly and quite freely early on, then you still might have to rotate around to the other side in order to get more points on the board, because it can be, especially if you're being bombed out, especially if you are being sniped out as well, because you can set up some pretty good backlines, especially up on those like grill areas around the spawn as well. On that side, it can be definitely a tricky thing to do. I'm still curious to see what happens here.
We can factor in all those important aspects there, Lily. But at each stage of the game, especially with this one, it's gonna be really key to see what happens here. I think trying to see if it has arrived. Maybe it has. I was being alluded to a vine boom soon, but it looks like that was not the case. Might have been distracted. Might have been a different biker jelly that's been whispering in my ear. As we take a look at all the weapons on both these ends. And so far, I'm actually really curious to see how this double end zap happens here. We're gonna be seeing full speed ahead, by the way, on the side of blue there. It's actually gonna be, I believe it's gonna be Whiprays on that blue side for those tuning in. Looks like the scoreboard's having some issues, so it looks like it's gonna be blue side will be Whiprays. The other side should be Permafrost, as we do see two members going down.
Yeah, it does look like Whiprays actually do go down, and that is a free first checkpoint on the left side, as you mentioned, and keeping those two specials online from the Tetra and that time as well. Looks like they're going to be clearing a pathway out, making sure that it is dangerous to approach those Julies there, as they get a great pick and look around to continue their frontline pressure, as two of the players have gone down.
Yeah, we do see multiple members going down, and yes, Lily, you can now be relieved that the left checkpoint has been one that is cleared off here. So I want to quickly touch base on this on the weapons here on the side. Whiprays are going to be playing very fast here as two members actually going down on that side. We're going to be seeing a very fast moving comp on the side of Whiprays, because we got double coolers, and then of course the crab tank for extra spice on top of it too. So I would love to see if the Whiprays can go full aggression the entire way through. Permafrost is gonna have to figure out how to navigate through these treacherous waters real fast, as they're gonna have to deal with the duel between NZAP and Splashes in that mix.
Yeah, especially I feel like Permafrost, the weapon comp that they're running is interesting to see, having the reflows come out, especially for that pink support. Having the NZAP also pink support, you can get a really good amount of pink down. Also with the V splash. So, and we can see how much pink that they actually have on the side of Permafrost, already continuing their presence here and making sure that the other team knows that they are not going to be giving up that space as they pick up the Rainmaker again. But two players have gone down on their side, and this Rainmaker is in a difficult position to be able to stay alive in at the moment. We can see Eon already getting a great pick here and looking around to find that tactical to give them the buff to make sure that they can start moving up ahead. But they are being pressured by this Rainmaker here. But don't worry, the Whiprays have those tri-strikes up their sleeve to stop that Rainmaker from making any headway onto them at the moment, as they retake mid where they can.
Yeah, so far just no extra progression really on the side of Permafrost. Excuse me, there. As we do see Ravioli able trying to navigate with their way through this point. Really, I think I would like to see some more control from the Whiprays, and they've been trying to dish out this very aggressive composition. there, but it looks like they're just losing so much in the realm of painting. As you do see that Rainmaker being picked up, instantly punished. It's gonna be 2, it's gonna be 3 members down on the side of Whiprays. Permafrost able to get way more points on the board. In fact, possibly the KO. No, shut down near that whole pedestal with 3 members going down right away, and Reese is gonna have to likely retreat back here a bit. It's gonna be Sofa King trying to pressure them out big time, but yeah, Permafrost just got even more points on the board there, Lily. What a great push for them.
Absolutely a really good push, definitely testament to the amount of pressure and the amount of zone control that they've had throughout this match as well. The Rainmaker itself has kind of been moving around in different interesting positions. Does look like Ravioli is going to try and get a defensive grab out, but unfortunately being punished immediately as Permafrost manages to grab the Rainmaker, but going down once again 2 players here as Ravioli and the rest of their team on the Whiprays start to spawn back in, getting that top 2 kill.
Yeah, more importantly, just getting that pop there and then getting the cooler back at spawn, at least trying to get some extra mobility and then try to get it back, get themselves back up there. Actually, from what I see from the Rainmaker hold, it's gonna be 1 tap the cooler down. Cuber's the one that picks up the Rainmaker. So again, Whiprays, they're gotta break through this first checkpoint, but their comp is just so short range that if Permafrost plays their ranges correctly, it's gonna be more advantages for them. And yeah, Whiprays, they lose 3 in that process. Permafrost able to put the defensive hold. This could possibly be stalled territory now for Permafrost.
Yeah, definitely we might be seeing this Rainmaker just being held in these last 25 seconds, but with that Crab Tank coming out, providing pressure, providing that moment of safety as well for the Rainmaker. It does look like this is going to be a very difficult engagement for the Whiprays to be able to take on this Rainmaker play, but we are seeing them push up, and the Rainmaker does actually go down right there in the last couple of seconds, to be honest.
Yeah, the last couple of seconds, the Rainmaker did drop. In fact, there's 3 members down on the side of Permafrost. Whiprays is going to pick up this Rainmaker. Now, I think there may have been some indecision here. 2 members going right, 2 members going left. A little bit of a distraction tactic or some slight communication breakdown. We're not sure there, as we do see Whiprays. They do get past the first checkpoint. Now they got to see if they can pick up this Rainmaker and then go for even more. We do see the triple ink tray being thrown out there as well. Rainmaker being picked up there as well. They get 1. The Dark Tetris go down, but Permafrost shuts them down. A little scary at the end for Permafrost with the first checkpoint being broken, but Permafrost with a very nice hold at the end of that.
Oh my goodness, everything just happened in those last few seconds in that overtime. Normally that, even if you manage to take that first checkpoint in overtime, it's very, very difficult to continue that push. And having that bomb pressure come out at the end definitely made it difficult for them to get any points on the ground after that first checkpoint was broken. But Permafrost does take that first game. The Whiprays still have 2 more games to go. What kind of things are you hoping to see the Whiprays think about in terms of trying to deny that amount of paint control that Permafrost has been having, and the amount of aggression that they've been having with their positioning as well, Kion?
They just got completely out aggressive. That's really the best way to break that one down. They had a double cooler composition right in that full end with the enzyme and everything else in play. I believe that was the double cooler. I gotta double check if that was the Trinova that was played in that previous map. But yeah, they had full on aggression. They tried to make something work in terms of just pure speed and just pure aggression, but it got completely shut down in opportune moments. So they gotta really position themselves around where Permafrost would be playing. Now, Scorch Gorge Clan Blitz, I think this could be a map where this could still benefit them big time. They just have to find the bigs and then try to collapse onto the rest of Whiprays entirely. But there could be some difficulties with how the map terrain works out, Lily.
Yeah, and it's something that I see quite a lot in terms of this map terrain. Not only do you have a bit of a kind of almost 2 choke points that you have to really throw your all at, either that one around the ramp, around the basket, where the basket is at the top of the ramp, but also if you manage to actually set something up on the grates, you can actually create an interesting little almost like a flank route around the back as well, which you always constantly have to be checking for as well. So if you do have your players coordinating a push on the one side and being able to get a few more clams in around the other side, you can definitely have something very useful out of that great route as well. We will be seeing what they bring to the table. However, I am hoping to see actually Mellow come out with a reflux again, which I'm excited to see once again, because you know, having a reflux here for that paint is definitely going to be good for them with how they're playing.
Yeah, and you might have, I just saw the Whiprays changes by the way. They went away from the double cooler, but went with something a little bit more different than I thought it would be. It's gonna be the regular slasher on Ravioli Stand, and Cuber has the range blaster, if I'm not mistaken, for that weapon choice. So you're playing a little bit more for range. I do like the change overall to help protect themselves. I would like to see this work in terms of trying to deny the reflux and the Dark Tetris from pushing up any further. But we're still gonna see the duel of these splashes by the end of this.
Yeah, we are, and I think having like I'm seeing the Whiprays with their bucket gaming comp as well, having both the Entry and also the V-Slush as well. That's going to be giving them the ability to bomb out Permafrost when they really need to. It does look like they managed to at least prevent something from happening there as they try and regain Meteor. We're seeing Eon looking for a pick on the side, getting a little bit of support over there in that left pit, with the rest of the team coming in, unfortunately getting displaced a bit by Permafrost's missiles here, but they might have something to say about this as the rest of Permafrost actually comes out to pressure their plat. They have the clams on line, Kion, but they just need to make that power clam.
Yeah, they just need to get that all-important power clam spawned in to get this initial push. Reflux actually going down. That's one member that had 6 clams available and now just shut down entirely. I think they're gonna have to just retreat on this push. So both teams kind of just brawling things out here around mid, and anytime Permafrost tried to make something happen, just had to retreat nearly right away. So again, with Whiprays, though, the only thing I may have questions about is the fact that this is not a strong painting on paper, and it's really starting to show here as Lemon's able to take out a few members just like that. And now we could be seeing the power clam in play, but where is it? The reflex just needs the one power clam. There's the pass from the team there, and it breaks the barrier. More clams should be coming in here shortly, as you do see the reflex throwing out the Tenno missiles there. Now to completely disperse Whiprays from trying to defend any further. We do see Kai with 2 more on the NZAV. They're able to throw at least 1, and I think the rest of Permafrost, they might be done here, at least unless Reese has something to say about it. No, Reese gets shut down entirely. But Basset goes back up, down to 59 points remaining. Lily, what a nice push from Permafrost.
Absolutely a nice push, and definitely a really nice defense as well from the Whiprays, making sure to keep an eye out for those greats, as someone was definitely trying to push there to try and get them out of position and try and get a pick on them. But it does look like that is not going to be more than those 59 points on the table for Permafrost. We're seeing Surfer King come out with that crab tank, trying to create an opening for the rest of their team, and the Tactical. Once again, it looks like they might be able to go for something a little bit more aggressive at this point on the side of Permafrost. Oh, sorry, on the side of the Whiprays, with 2 members down on the side of Permafrost already. They can continue this 3v4 at the moment to try and gain a bit of ground here, but they are going to be pressured back and displaced and taken out by those missiles as well, Pion.
Yeah, so far Whiprays are just having again the same story from the previous one, just having a rough go trying to make an offensive push happen there. We do see Eon actually going down. Nice moves by there from Mellow for sure. So Mellow able to at least stop some of that offensive power that could have happened from the Whiprays end. And now we're going to be seeing the same story here. It looks like Permafrost could be able to get some decent control here around this mid and possibly get even more paint down for Permafrost to get another push going. Now for Whiprays, again, I still want to highlight there, the painting could still be a big problem. So for Whiprays, they gotta just probably look for some flanks, look for some angles around to see if they can stop the members of Permafrost. As 2 members we do see go down, Soap King able to use the crab tank very nicely, but is it going to be any more than just that? We do see a special available that should be triple ink strikes if they take any advantage of it. Cuber's left in no man's land, and all that being said and done, it's just going to be a very slow looking push, but I think Whiprays are going to have to retreat, only down to 58 seconds left, Lily.
Yeah, with less than a minute left, it does look like I've been noticing every time the Whiprays have been able to get their crab tank, being able to get their special, about being able to take control of mid, they are just being pressured back by those missiles. Once again, it does look like actually Permafrost manages to get the clam basket open once again. They have the control. They had the control of the basket, but the Whiprays is going to be slowly trying to push them out. Unfortunately, being displaced a little bit by those missiles once again, and they can give them another opportunity to get some more clams in, pushing the score down to 17,
Oh.
14, 11, 8. We only have a couple of clams left to go into the basket. With 20 seconds left, this looks like this is going to be their game. One more
it's gonna
clam if they can find it.
Yeah, they gotta find the one more clam. I'm getting deja vu already from this one, Lily. And again, another team is denied from getting one more clam in for the KO. But I think Permafrost are gonna be happy with this push because it's now forcing Whiprays to get a miracle push on their hands. They do have a power clam available, so it is gonna be overtime, but this is gonna be a long shot for Whiprays. They gotta win this fight. Trying to vote does go down. That's gonna be one member down. Make that a second. The range blaster, the normal slosher, and everybody else has dropped. Sofa King's pretty much the only one alive. Eon, Ravioli, and Cuber all went down in quick succession, and Permafrost takes this one home. They will win the second map, Lily.
They did win the second map, and you know what? Permafrost, with the amount of pin control they had, definitely helped them out with those fights, as we saw as Whiprays at the very end. Even though they did have to win a fight there, and they have really good weapons to fight with, it's not gonna be a winnable fight unless you have that paint on the ground. So this is something that I'm hoping that they can get in for the final game, especially, you know, paint on the ground is the name of the game on Splat Zone, so I'm hoping to see what they can bring to the table here. But you know what, I have to say, the Whiprays being able to stop that early push at 59, being able to make it really dangerous for Permafrost to be able to really go up that ramp and make much headway. I know that they had like a few moments where Permafrost was almost just like unable to find that opening, but when they did, they definitely managed to make the pushes of all time here on Clamblitz Scorch Gorge.
I mean, the tricky thing too, Lily, is again, there was just not much in the way of paint coverage. I mean, sure, we could consider sloshers, dry sloshers, and splashes to at least be decent amount of paint, but you're kind of leaving it to the hands of the splash every time to help set up for you. So the win condition wasn't necessarily the best. If you can find the members, it could help their cause, but they just had a hard time working around that. So Permafrost, by the way, shout out to the fist bump by the end by Lemon and Mellow on that second map, and that's how Permafrost taking this one all the way home. But you did allude to from before that 59 punch pain, you did get some semblance that Whiprays were definitely trying to fight their way through, but just never found those opportunities to make it work. Now, in Museum Zones, Lily, maybe they might want to. It's a large zone. There's gonna be a lot of contesting around that mid area, so I wouldn't be shocked if there's gonna be a slight change on the Whiprays end. I think they almost had maybe the comp they tried to bring out for Rainmaker could actually work here. All things considered, you got coolers and everything from that first map where they went full aggressive. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they want to try to keep it something similar there. But either way, they gotta solve the riddle of Permafrost.
They do, and this riddle really is going to come down to how you can prevent Permafrost from being able to push up with that paint control, which they have been doing so well in those first couple of games. But going into this game here, Museum Zones, it's definitely going to be I think, a bit of a ledge game here that you want to be able to pressure. It does look like actually we're seeing on the side of the Whiprays, we're seeing the Range Blaster and the Entry coming out. We are seeing actually the Explo on Permafrost. Now this is exciting, seeing an Explo here. You have that chip damage, you have that incredible paint output as well, and that's going to be giving actually Permafrost, I believe, the first cap, but that's going to be definitely a contested cap as we see two players from the Whiprays kind of try to rotate around to try and take a fight here. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to win a fight just yet, as the numbers are just continuing to tick down, with Kai here setting up really nicely on top of that mid spinner just to try and create that immense amount of pressure, getting that pick as well on Sofa King around their flats.
Yeah, and I know a certain pal of mine's Vapor's gonna be happy to see some great Explo play all around. Yet finding the pick, just lobbing it past the spinner there for the nice little pick from Kai was just excellently well placed. And yeah, Whiprays is just having a rough go, just trying to break through mid. Sofa King has to make it work with this crab tank. There's the reason they're not able to find any value. In fact, the picks just weren't there. But where is the follow-up from Whiprays? They have to flip over the point here soon. They do take out a couple more members, but it looks like Permafrost is able to retake quickly. Now they're just trying to collapse onto the zone right away. We do see Mellow and the rest of the Permafrost there. We do see Lemon trying to poke through. Can they get even more? No. The recap does happen on the Whiprays, and then Whiprays barely staying alive, but that could have gotten a lot more dangerous than it had any right to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was on the edge of my seat there, seeing the Whiprays try and take that fight and actually get a push off of that, but they do manage to get a push off of that. However, only down to 78 before
man.
Permafrost has to start going through all of their penalty points here. But you know, I don't think this is an impossible game for the Whiprays. They've done it once, they can do it again, but they really have to fight against what Permafrost is doing with the explosion position, I have to say, John.
Yeah, he's able to get a double right there, and then another member going down there. Soulfgate now has to play a very defensive prep, able to punish Mellow. So it looks like it's going to be a few members that respawn, but that is going to be okay for Permafrost there. Look at where Permafrost is positioned, Lily. It is pretty much all paint territory on the side of Whiprays that is belonging to Permafrost. And yeah, Whiprays is just having to desperately push close to the zone right now. Cooper's just trying to make something happen, but no, two members going down in quick succession, and Permafrost sweeps out this Nessie Pool set here, and they will win the first set in SOS for their team. So what a way to finish off strong, at least for Permafrost.
That was definitely a very strong game. You know, with Splat Zones, you can definitely have very long and very powerful pushes as well. And it does look like we saw two of them not only getting down all the way to a score of 8, but also getting through all of those penalty points all at once to get the knockout win as well. It does look like Permafrost has taken the set, and that was still an incredible set, I have to say, from the Whiprays as well. Being able to fight against a team like Permafrost, where you have all of that paint that you're gonna have to just try and paint over to get anything out of, and to be able to pick them off when you have that disadvantage from the lack of paint control. Gotta say, that is definitely going to be a difficult fight for your entire team anyway. But like, kudos to all the players on both teams for providing a very, very fun set to watch and to commentate as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, Whiprays definitely tried a lot of things to make it work, but Permafrost just comes out on top of that one. And yeah, just for those tuning in right now, the score is 3-0 Permafrost, with Permafrost winning Museum de Alfonsino Splat Zone. So congratulations to Permafrost by this one. So we got all 3 sets of Nessie Pools on the way. Now we're about to start setting up for brackets. Before we get to that, we got ourselves a little bit of an advertisement for y'all. As we do have an event coming up here. Are you fresh out of low level or an established mid-level team looking for more practice? Sign up for Level Up. Level Up is a weekly skill cap tournament aimed at mid-level teams. The second tourney is being held this Friday, August 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, or 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. Join the official Discord server at discord.io/levelup_ to sign up and to get more information. So, hey, another tournament coming up here soon. I know the ad, and I'm gonna be really curious to see what that happens. I know the ad may have had a different date. Don't fret, y'all. It is August 18th. To keep that in mind. So definitely be on the lookout if you are looking for another tournament aimed for your level, especially if you are mid-level players. We're gonna go ahead and start setting up for brackets here on our side. So don't tune away. We'll be right back, and afterwards we'll cover the first set of Great White brackets for y'all. See you then.
You are hot. Oop. There we go.
When it comes to Surgeon Shipyard tower control, and I'm gonna be really curious to see which how each team wants to deal with it. Of course, the tower pathing takes one side over the other, so that could be fascinating to watch and see how both teams either outflank each other or out duel each other.
Yeah, that could be very interesting to see some interesting flanks here on tower control Sturgeon's Shipyard, because I know there are quite a few options for movement, especially around the other team's court if they don't have their eyes on where you are coming from. But also, you know what, setting up on the other team's spinner or the other team's snipe areas, well, even on those grates as well, can be very powerful positions once you get around to those checkpoints and start to secure them as well. But you know what, I reckon tower control Sturgeon Shipyard, this is one I personally find a little bit tricky. I find Sturgeon Shipyard a very tricky one to kind of break out from, especially when you're dealing with a very strong push from the other team, and especially when you have it's just a fact of tower control at the moment where you have the passive special charge when you're riding the tower as well, which can definitely help pushers go for a long time as well. So we may be seeing, even if it can be difficult to get those checkpoints broken, we might be able to see a kind of a bit of a snowball effect happening, if possible, if you don't have that breakout from spawn arsenal that you can work with and use to push them off the tower and win those fights in that defensive team as well. So I'm curious to see what happens here actually.
Yeah, it's going to be very fascinating to see how both teams deal with this one. I think what you alluded to earlier with this one being a very tricky map. I mean, the terrain's all over the place. Let's be real here. This could lead to some very sneaky splats or some very sneaky shots from either team that can make this one work. In terms of what to expect from weapon side, of course, your typical weapons you could see, like any weapon with an inkjet or core you would see here. Bonus points if one of them dishes out a snipe rider, only for very silly reasons, but in this case though, I don't know if it necessarily favors those who play who play like very fast, very aggressive, like frontline weapons only. I actually wouldn't be surprised if actually either team wants to go that approach, because you don't have necessarily the greatest of sight lines to work with. But at the same time, I also wouldn't be surprised any other way with either of these teams just throwing us off guard.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping to get thrown off guard here. And you did mention Snipe Fighter. I reckon Snipe Fighter can be actually a pretty good choice ever since we saw it becoming popular in a previous area cup as well in the JP scene. But it does look like we're actually seeing the ballpoint, not a Snipe Fighter, unfortunately. We are seeing ballpoint on either side. The ballpoint Nautilus double Splatling comp on the side of Captain Happy Crew as well. With actually, you know what? We're seeing another junior. We saw a junior earlier on in the in Nessie's pools, so I'm curious to see what Captain Happy Crew brings to the table with this junior. I love junior. One of my favorite weapons.
Yeah, Captain Happy Crew actually has a very balanced looking composition that actually works out super well for Sturgeon Shipyard. You got a ton of paintings, you got your triple ink strikes with the bubbles, and of course ballpoint. You can never go wrong with that. But if we take a look at Downvote there, they got some very aggressive weapons of their own. Especially they got double inkjet composition with the V-Tri and the ballpoint. But as soon as we are gonna highlight Downvote's comp, Captain Happy Crew is like, no, absolutely not. We're gonna upvote you instead. And in this case, Captain Happy Crew is able to get some more paint down on that side and able to take full advantage of that wipeout for now. Nautilus does go down by the end of this one, entering the second checkpoint here. Are they able to finally break it? The bubble does come out here. It's gonna be delayed triple, and it looks like Downvote might have prevailed by the end of this. And we do see Bingo trying to fire some shots by the end of that, but it looks like this tower does reset, so not the second checkpoint, but a strong push nevertheless.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna point out actually Downvote's the way they were chaining the inkjets there to really try and push out Captain Happy Crew that had so much ground as well, so much paint on the ground, so much control over Downvote's court. But it does look like with that really incredible chaining of inkjets, they were definitely able to push them out of that area and actually start a push for themselves. Still trying to get kind of pressured back a little bit by those tri-strikes, but we're seeing Bingo already with the inkjet here trying to really make some work happen over in Captain Happy's court, but unfortunately they do get picked off. Captain Happy, we're looking at them setting up, trying to find a bit of pressure on that tower as it moves up ahead.
It looks like that tower trying to fight around that second checkpoint. It looks like multiple members just going down, just going to stop this push overall. So Downvote had a nice looking push by the tail end of that one, but not able to sustain it much further with a nice little defense there. And now again, you're going to be seeing the same situation here. You're going to be seeing Captain Happy Crew trying to set up for more paint. You got Captain Happy, namesake for themselves. Maybe they can find some picks there. Can Captain Happy find any members? No. Bingo tries to return with their own ink strike, and I think able to find one. Can Bingo find the second one? Absolutely not. The inkjet returns back, but it is going to be two. Make that three members dropping on that side. Downvote again. Same deal. Holding on defense. They just got to be able to convert.
And once again, it was those chaining inkjets. That's what's doing it for Downvote at the moment. They're definitely not down. They're definitely up in the air with those inkjets making the magic happen here. And it does look like they are starting to get a little bit of headway. They did manage to push it to 41, so it definitely looks like they can start pushing it further ahead. Bingo coming out with the inkjet once again, trying to clear out the court, trying to make sure that Captain Happy Crew is pushed back and ineffective on any defense as they manage to take the tower all the way to checkpoint 2, only to be met with those tri-strikes. This is definitely not the time for Downvote to be going down, as they nearly managed to get a lead on Captain Happy Crew, but they have the numbers only by one person. It does look like they managed to get a pick. Dean gets a pick here. This could be their time to grab lead here, Kion.
Yeah, good. This is going to be a great opportunity. They were able to take out multiple members, but they do lose two of their own. The ends have in the ballpoint going down on that side, and now it's going to be effectively a delayed triple. Effectively, the push stalls right there, so it's going to be a nice little stop there. Almost gotten a little dicey for Captain Happy Crew, but they do seem to hold at this stage. So love to see the defense holding firm. Now, close to a minute left to go here, Lily. We're going to be seeing Captain Happy Crew with the same setup as before, and for Downvote, they're going to need to be able to take full advantage of these specials. This is going to be a defensive cooler, but they're not able to take full advantage right now. Look at where Buns is positioned, trying to punish members in their range of the Nautilus, and we do see Captain Happy again taking full advantage of the inkjet. 45 seconds onto the second checkpoint, Lily.
Yeah, it looks like actually Captain Happy Crew they must be feeling happy right now, because they are just going to be pushing this tower all the way over to a score of 17. You know, not a huge lead still, but they're continuing that lead nonetheless, and they know that Downvote can't really push in with all that paint and all that control that they have in the middle of the map, but they are going to be trying to move them out, trying to get some picks. Nevertheless, still only managing to get one on the Junior at this moment, but they do have their specials online. They do have their inkjet, they do have their tactical, and with these inkjets coming out, which we'll hopefully be seeing soon, we might be able to see those chaining inkjets once again to try and help them get an overtime lead. We're seeing Bingo's inkjet come out first. This is going to help them try to flush them out as they take it to the next checkpoint. We are going into overtime here. 2 players have gone down on the side of Captain Happy Crew. We are seeing them push back with those trash tracks once again, but they are staying alive. Unfortunately, not long enough, and Downvote actually manages to Captain Happy Crew manages to get back on the tower in the end.
Yeah, so unfortunate aspect of that final push was that Downvote had a really solid looking push. It will take out multiple members. But unfortunately, when you pop the inkjet, you're no longer on the ground, and 2 members were surrounding that tower, trying to help protect the inkjets there. All that Captain Happy Crew really needed to do was touch the tower once the one lone squid was pretty much eliminated from the tower push, and that's exactly what pretty much sealed the fate of Downvote. Just yes, you had the inkjet trying to disperse them all around, but they left the tower completely unattended. And that is just the most unfortunate way to lose that map for Downvote, because they almost had something good showing right there.
Oh man, yeah, no, I think they really did have some good, and especially on their defenses against Captain Happy Crew's pushes over into their court, having that chained inkjet as well. That's something I just think that they wanted to make work when they were pushing as well, but unfortunately when you don't have people riding the tower, as you said, it just doesn't quite have the same effect. When you're trying to push that tower ahead as well. You really need to have someone there, and that can put you at just a little bit of a disadvantage when you can't get your team into that exact position to be able to continue that push. But you know what, being able to disperse Captain Happy Crew like that, and them having to come back in only with those tri-strikes as well, they did manage to make that work for them on the side of Captain Happy Crew. And as you said, being able to touch that tower at the very end was definitely what sealed the deal for them. Impressive pushes from both teams. So I have to say that was a very, very exciting. I was super excited going into that overtime.
Yeah, that was a very entertaining matchup overall there, and now we have to see how both teams adjust leading into Manta Maria Rainmaker there. Once again, for those who are tuning in, we get to see the spectator camera in action. How does the production guy behind the scenes, so how does Toshi get to handle the camera? You can see down on the bottom half of that screen, so keep an eye on that for those who are curious about that. As we do get to see both teams adjusting for now Manta Maria Rainmaker, with the checkpoints being on both sides, left side being the safest, right side being the more spicy one, and both teams now opted to change their composition, so it's going to be the same, like, fast pushes really from either team, and then Downvote still trying to keep that chaining inkjet, as you mentioned. I think it almost worked out well in the previous matchup. They just got to be able to refine it and turn it into a push in Rainmaker.
Yeah, and it really comes down to being able to make it a push. They can make it work really well in the defense, but if you can't make it make a really good push out of it, especially here, then you really can't get the ball rolling with the Rainmaker. It does look like we have still a fairly neutral game here, but Captain Happy Crew coming out with the inkjet and also getting quite a bit of map control at the moment. It does look like they might be able to, if they can win a fight. It does look like, unfortunately, they go 2 plays down, so you know what, it might be Downvote's opportunity to be able to grab the Rainmaker at the very beginning with the support from that inkjet as well. Looks like they're taking the spicy route, but still being pushed out. Managing a great pick there and taking the spicy right route. Are they going to survive that? Unfortunately, 3 players going down right on the edge there. Oh my goodness, that was a bit of an unfortunate jump, and great actually for Captain Happy Crew to be able to notice that and make quick work of what was going on there.
Yeah, I think the player may have gotten stuck at the tiny part of the ledge and not able to touch the ground, ultimately slowing that push down, and then basically giving Captain Happy Crew just maybe a few extra seconds of time to really be able to finish that one off from defense. So Downvote, yeah, they have a nice looking push right out of the get-go, but just completely stalled, and now we're gonna get to see if Captain Happy Crew can take advantage here. Rainmaker shot's gonna be fired away, and it looks like this is gonna be the lead change, but it is gonna be 3 members going down by the end of this one. Again, another push gets stopped. It is gonna be a small lead by the end of this one, as Buns Buns might be trying to say something otherwise. In fact, Buns, I think, got a double. Can Buns get the triple? Yes, Buns does get a triple by the end of that one, and I think this will keep the Rainmaker in that territory for the first checkpoint, unless Downvote has other things to say, but it looks like Downvote is just a bit too late. The first checkpoint going to Captain Happy Crew.
Yeah, it does look like Downvote, even that first checkpoint has happened, Downvote is still trying to assert their presence here on the map, trying to get as much paint down for themselves as possible, but Captain Happy Crew is definitely set up with that inkjet once again. Captain Happy looking out, trying to get a pick, so unfortunately going down actually to Bingo here is going to be trying to control their bunker. Both ball points down on either side. This is going to be definitely a fast-paced game that we are seeing to try and get something to start going. It does look like unfortunately players are going down one at a time once again. They're being pushed back by that Ink Storm as well, so they might have to actually play a little bit more safe with the rest of their other two players going down as well, Kion.
Yeah, and right now, we're gonna be seeing Crass, I believe, trying to just navigate this Rainmaker into a very interesting location. You normally don't see this Rainmaker being pushed up at the grade. So it looks like he's gonna be a full push ahead up to the left hand side, and it's just met by a ballpoint finally that was just waiting on the wings there, Happy with a nice stop by the end of that one. And it looks like so far we're gonna be seeing Downvote. I think they're just going to retreat just a tiny bit. Now we got dueling Inkjets here as Happy, nice stop there, able to take out the Rainmaker holder just at the nick of time, and that hold that basically means that the Rainmaker goes back to its bubble near instantly, and all the brawl that is happening right now, no team really getting any sort of foothold into this push. It's just going to be an absolute back and forth. Who comes out on top of this one? It looks like the Rainmaker will not be snuck in. Nice stop by Dean on the Junior. This is the first time that has been saved. Captain Happy Crew with a nice defense.
Absolutely very nice defensive three players also going down there. It does look like they're still going to try and find an opening to take it, to get some more points on the ground for them, because with less than a minute left, they only have a 2-point lead at this moment. It does look like they are going to be taking it around the spicy route, and it does look like they are running it to the final checkpoint, but getting it punished straight away as they move it down to a score of 26. This is a very safe lead for them at the moment, and with this rain coming out and Bingo coming out to try and stop anyone from being able to pick up the Rainmaker once again, they are in a tricky spot here, because once you get the Rainmaker down into the court, it can be a very, very quick run to the finish line.
Yeah, and that Rainmaker push may have sealed it for Captain Happy Crew, because that is now going to be the first checkpoint that Downvote needs to get, and then way more. With 20 seconds left to go, and overtime you have to start factoring in. Where does this push really start? They have to win multiple fights, effectively speaking, and actually have to keep their members alive at crucial moments. They let the Rainmaker reset with 8 seconds left to go. Somebody has to pick up the Rainmaker, though, and we're going to get to see double Inkjet, but double Inkjets cannot pick up this Rainmaker. They got to hurry in big time, and I think the bomb completely puts a stop to that, and Captain Happy Crew will win the set 2-0, advancing to the next round, Lily.
Oh my goodness, that was definitely an impressive match, an impressive push, I gotta say, from Captain Happy Crew as well. But you know what, Downvote definitely made things scary for them pretty much for the entire game, with only that very tiny score difference for most of it as well. So huge congratulations not only to Captain Happy Crew, but also to Downvote for creating such like two fantastic even games. Even though it was a 2-0 on the side of Captain Happy Crew, these were two very, very difficult games for them to win as well, I have to say, Kion.
Yeah, just even though Downvote had moments where they could have easily swung in their favor, just some key moments in the last minute really for Downvote pretty much made it so that Captain Happy Crew was able to take advantage. We recapped Sturgeon Shipyard tower control. I mean, that push by the end of it, pretty much nobody was on that tower at that key moment overtime, allowing Captain Happy Crew just a very quick move in to take the tower. And then for the second map, I mean, just a clutch stop, a bomb throw to prevent the Rainmaker from getting picked up right away. Captain Happy Crew pretty much knew the assignment, and at that point, that was all she wrote for Downvote. So Captain Happy Crew moving on to the next round, Lily, and I think that's going to be it for us for this block. So again, thanks to IPL for coming out for a stormer sink. Lily, where can the great people find you?
Well, thank you so much, Kion, for asking. People in chat who's watching, you can find me on Twitter at LilyGravyBread. That's Lili Gravy Bread, all one word. And I also stream at least once a week on my Twitch channel, which is the same name Lily Gravy Bread. I'm over there as well, and you can find me at least on, if depending on your time zones, Thursday or Fridays or something like that. Anyway, Kion, where can the great people find you?
The great people can find me on Twitch and on Twitter. My name, of course, Kion2570. I will pretty much talk about nonsense on Twitter, and then on Twitch I do a lot of variety streaming. But of course, Splatoon is always on the docket. I've unfortunately been walled off a little bit during rank, so I'm just getting my so I will be back in Splatoon when the time is right. But for now though, that's where the great people can find me, so you can definitely find me on there. Again, huge shoutouts to Toshi in production for leading us through Nesticles and the first map, but he is not done yet because the next rounds will be coming up here shortly with a new set of commentators, so don't go away, everybody. The resuming of Great White Brackets will be back in just a few.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Swim or Sink 119. We are in our Great White bracket, Sweet Tooth versus the Grimace Shakers. It is I, Mad Gamer II, and I am joined by the wonderful Saf. How are you doing tonight?
Maddie, happy Wednesday. Feeling super good here on Swimmer Sink 119. Wowie zowie. And Sweet Tooth versus Grimace Shakers. Maddie, we are in for a treat. And the folks at home watching us on Twitch here on IPL are also in for a treat. Both of these teams, Maddie, have such a history. I mean, Sweet Tooth has been killing it lately. They won Swimmer Sink 118 last week. They are back to fight for the top once again this week. They got into second place into Proving Grounds last week, or the week prior, Proving Grounds 18. And I believe they had another like really close call win as well. But I mean, over on the other side, looking at the Grimace Shakers also had a really awesome run in Proving Grounds 18 a couple weeks ago as well. And we've gotten to see a lot of the Grimace Shakers recently too in this tournament scene. Both teams are doing excellent, and we're already ready to get started into our first round here. And as expected, you have Junkie on that Octobrush, and you can see Daybreak pulling out the Nautilus as well. And I am curious to see Hermit, actually, who's usually playing a really, really swifty paintbrush. They're going the Neo Splash this time.
Indeed. I wonder perhaps because they do have the brush on one of the other players, or just the fact that it is Flounder High. Flounder High just changes the game for a lot of players because the style of it is so different with the height difference. We already see some of those strikes coming out. Strikes, one of the most powerful specials on Zone's Flounder. We're definitely going to be seeing a lot of those in this match.
Absolutely. Already there's a quick firefight happening in mid here. You can see the Sweet Tooth is actually going to be the first, or excuse me, no, yes, Sweet Tooth is going to be the first ones to take the zone here, getting a few more points on the board. But as you said, Maddie, I mean, the zones are really close together here, and with having tri-strikes coming out on both sides, it's going to be a very flip-floppy match, I believe, especially because these zones up top here are so small. There's not a lot of surface area to try to contest, so those tri-strikes are going to be absolutely major here.
Oh, absolutely. Like, as you said, these zones are pretty tiny. Like, the fact that it's a double zone is the only reason that it stays in one team's favor for any given amount of time. But it is just super easy to just contest the one zone with any certain special. And I feel like with the beacons coming out from that crack-on roller on Grimace Shakers, they're definitely going to have a lot of staying power if they're able to cement that onto this high ground here, especially considering they also have the ballpoint in their comp. However, Sweet Tooth, they do have the aggression and the mobility, so they can certainly bring this back if they can keep the pressure up. But right now, Grimace Shakers are just slowly pushing them back with the pressure they have.
Yeah, Grimace Shakers is putting up a pretty good fight here, but once again, Maddie, you have those tri-strikes online, and there we go. Already a contestant with tri-strikes of their own from Grimace Shakers, and that Kraken is going to come out as well from Kingja. Lots of activity being seen from Kingja on the main stage here. A nice double kill coming into that, but with the missiles coming out, Grimace Shakers is going to have to disperse a little bit here before trying to make a final push onto Sweet Tooth kind of up on their zone. And with those missiles too, I think that is exactly what Sweet Tooth needed in order to get a little bit more paint on the ground here. But once again, I mean, just as Flounder zones goes, you find yourself in the neutral game quite often.
Oh, absolutely. And if you manage to keep your team alive for a good chunk of time, like it will move back and forth just constantly. But I say that Grimace Shakers gets wiped out. I think this is the first wipe of the match. This is going to be Sweet Tooth's opportunity to really push out and cement their control of the territory right now. Like Grimace Shakers, they need to be using those specials to be pushed back in. Like right now, if Sweet Tooth with the high ground and soon they have their specials online as well, like they're going to be tough to get back in.
Yeah, and especially with Sweet Tooth having those missiles on their side as well, trying to climb up those walls can be extra dangerous when those missiles are deployed. As you can see, Kingja was trying to go in maybe for a surprise flank there, but the missiles kind of called them out. You have Stan on the ballpoint here. They were mid inkjet there, trying to look for the pick, but not quite finding, I think, what they were looking for. But especially with the pressure coming in from Kingja, it gave them plenty of space to get to move up here. And you can see the members of Sweet Tooth are a little bit trapped in their back corner area here. But as I say that, the tri-strikes come out from the side of Grimace Shakers, and they are able to get the wipeout.
Yes, Kingja, the last man standing, able to get the jumps in for their team, as well as take the lead back with that zone cap. Now it's Grimace Shakers to take control of the high ground and just keep Sweet Tooth at bay for as long as possible. But we do see the strikes and the missiles online. Both are going to be used, so Grimace Shakers is going to have to move off that high ground. Otherwise, they will be splatted. But the pick off the brush is an absolute huge, because that is going to be their main striker. And once taking that out, their aggression is going to be gone, and so is the Nautilus.
Yeah, that front line is kind of slowly dwindling on the side of Sweet Tooth here. You have Cap pulling out that crab tank, trying to look for the pick there, trying to maybe chuck some ink into that area of Sweet Tooth there. Junkie trying to get something cooking there with the Spider-Man special. It escapes me once again, Maddie, but not quite getting any chance to lift off there to try to look for some picks for Sweet Tooth. Grimace Shakers have a really strong hold in mid right now. I mean, we're only 12 points away from trying to determine this game, but a quick turnaround by Sweet Tooth, adding that 62-point penalty on Grimace Shakers. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, we saw there, and Grimace Shakers did not, but there was a flank coming up for that one wall, though. That's the thing you have to watch out for with the verticality of Flounder Heights. Like, any surface of the wall can be a potential flank, especially coming up the backside there. And it looks like several members were taken down, and with the pincer of the missiles, it's just their defense dwindled quite rapidly. And so the take back there was able to get the zone for Sweet Tooth and get that nice penalty on Grimace Shakers points right now. And as we get into the last 10 seconds, they really need to hold on to this if they want to take this zone back. But 50 points is a lot to do in 10 seconds.
Yeah, and overtime is now initiated. There's a fight happening on the side of Grimace Shakers zone right now. They're trying to make their way back out into mid. We're in a 3 versus 3, a 2 versus 3 situation now. Grimace Shakers have the upper hand. They're in a 3 versus 3 situation. Junkie, I don't think is going to be enough to hold them back. Now finally going down, but enough respawn time almost for Sweet Tooth to try to get back in there. As you can see, all members are trying to jump into that back area, but just not quite enough time. So Grimace Shakers coming out winning round 1.
A nice play by Grimace Shakers. That is the other downside of having a double zone right there. If it's not in either team's control, whoever team has the lead will be the advantage as overtime just dwindles out. So Grimace Shakers able to just keep their own side painted, allow the overtime to tick out, taking this first match with a nice win there. But honestly, as we come to expect, it is pretty back and forth. Like, when those specials got popped, like, they had to move, otherwise it will be sent back to spawn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, too, having the beacon power from Kingja was super helpful there. You really want to try to maintain your presence when someone on your team is using beacon. Super important to always be checking the map, and especially if you are the opposer, always be checking that map to see where those beacons are going to be placed, because you just never know. You never know where the flank is going to come from on Flounder Heights. It's so open, and there's just so many different spots that you can try to come in and take a surprise attack. But moving forward here, Sweet Tooth might be down, but they are not out, Maddie. They have so much momentum riding into this swimmer sink this week, and we're going over to Tower Control on Hagglefish Market.
Indeed. Towerfish, Hagglefish can be as far from Flounder Heights as possible. It's going to be nice and flat, nice and longular. This is going to do well, I think, for that ballpoint pick, but the thing with Tower Control is, like, if you're able to put on that pressure, able to push up ahead of it, especially for Hagglefish, there are some key positions to take the tent over on that right side up in the corner around that second checkpoint. Like, if Sweet Tooth is able to really take advantage of that momentum, like, they can keep Grimace Shakers at bay, even though they will have that little bit extra range with the ballpoint pick.
I'm going to be adding that word into my vocabulary because of you, longular. a long rectangular space. That is the definition. If you look that up in the dictionary, you will find a picture of Hagglefish Market.
Absolutely.
Stan probably feeling pretty good on that ballpoint. Definitely going to have a pretty good advantage here, and especially needs to be watching out for the flanks. Need to be really cautious of where Kingja's going to be, Maddie. As we've seen time and time again, Kingja is very good with their roller, and they are very, very good at their flanking game. So definitely going to have to keep a good eye out for that. The front line can probably combat it. I totally believe it, especially with Hermit and Daybreak moving together, and you have Junkie also coming out with that Octobrush. But as I say it, there we go. Kingja on that vanilla roller. You have Cappington switching over to that end zap, so Juice will be online for the side of Grimace Shakers. No Juice to be had on Sweet Tooth, though, so I think Sweet Tooth's got to be pretty cautious about where about how present Grimace Shakers is going to be on this map moving forward.
Yeah, that's right, Saf. Sweet Tooth is not going to be able to be as gung ho as Grimace Shakers without that juice. But that being said, Grimace Shakers getting the nice 3 down off of Sweet Tooth. I do believe that Brush was sharking over on the back side, but unfortunately with 3 members on tower, they're not going to be able to contest it right now. So this may be an easy first checkpoint for Grimace Shakers. And as we see here, like as I was saying before, taking that top corner right there, this area around the second checkpoint is huge for just keeping control of the tower, because the main path of the tower goes up that right side.
Absolutely, and I loved seeing that special coordination coming out from Grimace Shakers there. You had Stan flying up into the Inkjet, and you had Michiru throwing out those tri-strikes to try to follow up and provide some coverage as well. A good stamp pick, though, coming out from Keto on that Wiper there. A double stamp pick at that, and they are going to be looking for their next pick here as they push up into the space of Grimace Shakers. That tower's stopping at the 47, super close to that second checkpoint, though, and I think if Grimace Shakers were able to hold their specials for a little bit longer and stack properly, we might have been able to see a few more points come onto that board. But now this is in Sweet Tooth's favor to try to get this tower moving, and especially with Junkie having that zip caster. There it is, Maddie. It's a zip caster, in case you were wondering, online. They're able to provide a lot of distraction and pressure onto Grimace Shakers if they're to use it properly, but they go down before they're able to use it. Unfortunate.
That is quite unfortunate, and that's going to be just the Wiper remaining. I'm not quite sure if they're on. It looks like they're on their plasma. Not really any position to play defense right now, except for to get their specials back online. Once again, Grimace Shakers getting another chance at that second checkpoint. I feel like that second checkpoint is one of the hardest spots to take control of on this map. Like, unless you're able to get the wipeout on the other team, like, it's just right on their spawn there, and they can just contest it constantly. So Grimace Shakers gonna have to be careful going on to just play it carefully, just play to their specials and get the splats like this right here. That's gonna be 2 down potentially, and so they have another chance.
Yeah, I think that Junkie trying to get up into the tower's business was a little bit premature, I think. But Sweet Tooth is going to use those tri-strikes to try to follow up. And the rain as well, getting some poking damage, especially now with 3 members of Grimace Shakers going down. Sweet Tooth is going to once again stop this push at the 42. 5 more points on the side of Grimace Shakers. They are not letting go of their pressure, Maddie. They want to keep this game moving forward. They want to keep trying to take the space as best as possible. Kingja having a great cancel, going in for the wipeout, taking a triple splat. Moving up into the plat area, the spawning area of Sweet Tooth. This could be super dangerous for them. Sweet Tooth has got to be cautious when coming out of this spawn.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Kingja just getting the nice wipeout right there and just moving right into the plat, just making themselves at home. But right now, Sweet Tooth was able to take control of this corner right there. So Grimace Shakers weren't quite able to get that checkpoint, but they still have a lot of ground in mid. They have a lot of paint control right now. So even though Sweet Tooth is holding the defense right now, they're just not able to move forward. Like, once again, they're going to be losing 2 of their members, make that delay 3 members. So Grimace Shakers is still in control of the tower, and the tower has not yet moved from this corner here. If they're able to just get another solidified push, or if Kingja is able to get a nice wipeout from this corner here, from the backside, they could potentially get through the second checkpoint, but right now, this is a bit of a stalemate in this corner.
Yeah, and I think they're doing an excellent job of keeping it there, Maddie, because it seems like that this is a very advantageous position for Grimace Shakers to be. And you can see it, too. It seems like they've played this map before. They've played this map mode before tons of times, and they know how to play to their strengths, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Now, finally getting some more points on the board here. We're almost to that 3rd checkpoint, and there you have it. The wipeout on Sweet Tooth. Grimace Shakers still moving this tower. Oh, excuse me. No, it's a flipped wipeout. Sweet Tooth is actually going to wipe out Grimace Shakers at the 21 mark, almost getting into that 3rd checkpoint. Now Sweet Tooth is going to try to be pushing forward here, trying to maintain some ground and some pressure, but unfortunately, there goes Keto. Keto going down, that Wiper that we got to see prior, and then Junkie goes down as well. It seems like Sweet Tooth is getting a little bit staggered coming back out into this map, Maddie. They're trying to take these fights, but it's just not going in their favor.
It is unfortunate stuff like that. Wipeout was exactly what Sweet Tooth needed, but unfortunately Grimace Shakers, even coming back from spawn, was able to just maintain the defense and keep Sweet Tooth staggered. Sweet Tooth was able to get 2 members down off of the Grimace Shakers, so they have the opportunity to get this checkpoint, but 21 points is a lot to have to go through, especially considering they don't have a single checkpoint down yet. they are going to be getting through this first checkpoint as we head into overtime, and they really need to be able to push out their specials, and they have to take down the bucket, because if they get those tri-strikes online, that's going to be GG right there.
Yeah, they got to play this really safe and really carefully. They got one member of Grimace Shakers now going down. They have multiple members on the tower, but they both go down, and all 4 go down just like that in a blink of an eye. Holy smokes, Maddie. I mean, you had 2 members of Sweet Tooth on that tower ready to go, pushing through to that second checkpoint. They almost got the timer all the way down, and then just the double, I think, on the tower was kind of the downfall there. Oh man, super close, but man, what a comeback that was for Sweet Tooth in the overtime, especially. The pressure is on.
That's right, like, just Grimace Shakers were able to just stall out the majority of that match, but once Sweet Tooth was able to break that hold that they had on them, they were able to swap that momentum back into their favor, but it just unfortunately was a little bit too late because of the overtime. It just, once again, that one tri-strike was enough, or even the double beforehand was just enough to stall out that push before they could get that lead back.
Yeah, and I mean, it's as you were saying earlier, Grimace Shakers were basically holding the tower in that first checkpoint corner area for a lot of that game, and I think they have it figured out how they want to position themselves on the map to try to maintain that presence and maintain their point advantage. I mean, as soon as they were able to get the tower pushed up, you could see that they immediately fanned out. They were looking at all the drop points. They were looking for the flanking point on the left side coming down from that second canopy. They had all eyes on the spawn of Sweet Tooth and looking for where people were going to try to drop and get the jump on them. Which is a really difficult thing to do, I think, because just think Grimace Shakers just had the better 1v1s coming out.
Oh, for sure. Like, we saw just several times Grimace Shakers had just the player advantage. They would take down even just 1 or 2 members of Sweet Tooth was enough to keep them backed up, just enough to just move the tower slowly forward. And although they weren't able to get the KO, like, getting it to that third checkpoint was huge. That's just enough of a lead that they needed to be able to defend it once they get into overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. Well played by Grimace Shakers. Sweet Tooth getting knocked out here, and we have Grimace Shakers are going to be moving on. Looking forward to where Grimace Shakers are going to find themselves next. And if we can take a peek over at the bracket here. You have Carrying Pulp versus Captain Happy Crew, who we got to see previously on stream. Carrying Pulp, Maddie, has also had quite a run lately. Carrying Pulp winning Proving Grounds 18 2 weeks ago against Sweet Tooth, actually. Or having a really good match against Sweet Tooth, knocking Sweet Tooth down into losers finals. But Carrying Pulp, I believe, took the crown in Proving Grounds 18, and they now find themselves looking here to swim or sink. And still looking like some matches are still happening. So, looking over, Carrying Pulp winning 2-1 over Captain Happy Crew. So they are going to be moving forward. And then you have Quick Soppa. I'm so sorry. Versus Cherry Limeade. Cherry Limeade getting knocked out, going 0-2 against Quick Soppa. So Quick Soppa is going to be against Carrying Pulp in this next matchup here. But we have Cuber Fan Club on the other side of the bracket versus Velocity. We're at a 1 versus 1 right now, Maddie. So we're trying to fight for that final game there to find ourselves into round 3 before finals. As always, the scoreboard never shows the whole story, right? So when you find yourself in a 1-to-1 situation looking in for the final game, you never know what's happening. It could be some real intensity here. It could be into overtime for a while. Who knows?
Oh, for sure. Like, it is, especially when you get into this top cup right here, just the skill level of these teams playing there. Like, it will be just so back and forth for the majority of the games. Like, it's even a 2-0 can be intensely close through the majority of it.
Definitely. And so the winner of that match will find themselves going against Grimace Shakers. So it's very possible that we will see Grimace Shakers again going into the finals, or Carrying Pulp, or Quick Soppa. I mean, it's anybody's game at this point, Maddie. And if we see one of these teams going in, I mean, it's gonna be a fight for the title. The fight for the title of Swimmer Sync 119.
That's right. Like, we're pretty much into the top 4 teams right now. So, like, this is the top cut of the top cut right now. We do have that one match to figure out who's going to be our fourth team going in, but yeah, this is for all the marbles right now. Like who's going to be going into the finals right here. We're going to find out in our next round. But before then, we will be going to a short break. So, stay tuned, stay hydrated, and use the restroom if you need to. We'll be right back.
Hello, dudes! It's Wednesday! Welcome back to Swim or Sink Great White Bracket 119. We have the Tosh Cam, the Tosh Cam, Hand Cam. That's right, folks. Looking on over, I'm here with Maddie, who's here right next to me, in theory, in my brain, commentating these matches with me. And we're looking at the semi-final round here with Carrying Pulp versus Q Appa. And looking over at our bracket, folks, it looks like Velocity is going to come out on top over Cuber Fan Club. And what we were hearing through the grapevine is that we actually had a member of Jackpot over on that the Cuber Fan Club team. So that 1-to-1 matchup definitely is a really awesome win for Velocity to get to take going into round 3 here. So Velocity is going to find themselves against the Grimace Shakers, who, as we just saw, went 2-0 over Sweet Tooth, and earlier Grimace Shakers getting a 2-0 over Orca Balestra. Orca Balestra also having a wonderful time in this mid-level scene. They've been doing excellent and recently qualified out of Low Inc. a few months ago. So looking pretty good there for Grimace Shakers. But down below, we are going to be watching Carrying Pulp and Kixtapa. Someone's going to have to, like, type the phonetic in chat so I can make sure I'm getting this correct. But Carrying Pulp, though, Maddie, they had quite a run in Proving Grounds 18, and they actually won the title of Proving Grounds 18. So lots of good feelings if you're Carrying Pulp going into this third round.
That's right, Carrying Pulp, not only did they take down Sweet Tooth, but they also took down the two teams that knocked out Grimace Shakers and Velocity. So, like, they have a good chance of the tie here. Like, they've certainly have done the run, have gotten the gold medal already, so they can certainly do it this time again. But it's just a stacked top 4 right now. Like, all 4 of these teams. Well, actually, I'm not sure about Exopa or our 4th team right there, but Velocity, Grimace Shakers, and Carrying Pulp, all 3 have been making names for themselves in the most recent weekly and semi-weekly tournaments. So certainly a fight to be had right here. I honestly can't tell you what I expect to come out on top here, just how close these teams are right now.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what Carrying Pulp is going to bring to the table this time around. They had a really aggressive comp coming back. They actually, something really interesting, Maddie, they like to run the Bamboozler. Carrying Pulp has a resident Bamboozler user, and they like to back that up with a Tetra and a Zap as well. So super interesting. I think, especially coming into this higher level and into the higher brackets as well, bringing those weapons that we don't really get to see as often lately, and Bamboo being one of those weapons. Hopefully, looking at you, Splatoon update, maybe we will get to see another Bamboozler in our future here. But for now, we're gonna be playing Clam Blitz, Maddie. We're playing Clam Blitz, and looking at that, Zopa looking Zappa on the other side there. That's Balloon from Smoothie, I think, Maddie.
Indeed it is. I had the unfortunate chance to run into them in solo queue earlier, so they are quite cracked. So that just goes to show, like, the level of play coming out from Exopa here. Like, they may be a pick out, but they are a pick out to be reckoned with. Already taking so much map control in mid. They are giving Carrying Pulp having to back up right here. Like, with Clam Blitz, it is a bit of a fight for mid in the earlier bit, but it looks like Exopa has already won that fight, and they just gotta wait for those clams to spawn and start moving in.
Yeah, like I was saying, there's that Bamboo, Maddie. That Bamboo is front and center on Carrying Pulp, and you just love to see it. You have the Tetra to kind of help and follow up with that poking damage and that aggression as well. But Exopa is going to be the first ones to make a pop here, and they're going to have lots of follow-up to come in as well, Maddie. That Inkjet providing a lot of support. You have Gus trying to come in on this pillow, kind of hiding here, taking out Star in the process. Bamboo is looking for them, but just can't quite find them. Still plenty of clams to be had on the side of Exopa. These spawns are in their favor. They're down to the 38 with more to spare. They're just holding it open, and Carrying Pulp is doing their best to try to chase them out of here.
This is the first push of the game, barely a minute out, and we're down to 29 points already. And they're not even done yet. There's just so much blue blue paint right now in Inkjet in the air. Like, Carrying Pulp has yet to be able to push out of their own plat, and they have 2 members down still. And so they're just not able to make much headway. 16 clams on both sides. If whoever's able to break this stalemate right now will be able to get a decent amount of clams in.
There we go. You see Storm having the Tri-Strike there, getting a really, or not the Tri-Strike, the Tri-Zuka there, getting a really good pick. They had enough clams to get another power clam. They're just going to toss that right in there, Maddie. Carrying Pulp, though, once again, they're trying their best to keep the members of Exopa out, but it's just not quite working there. Oh my goodness. Balloon trying to go in for an Inkjet to see if they can provide some support, but just get taken down immediately. Only the Bucket player left alive, going to have to be forced to retreat here as Carrying Pulp is going to make their way back into mid and take it for themselves.
That's right, Saf. This is going to be Carrying Pulp's first opportunity to take control of mid. We see the map is turned from blue to yellow here, and they are able to get a pick off the Bucket. That's going to be that the Tacticooler out of commission for the time being, so Exopa's going to have to play a little bit more carefully for the time being, but the Inkjet doesn't need to play carefully if it takes them down. That's going to be a pick and another pick, going for that third, but does have to recall before they can do that. So that's going to be Exopa just taking control of mid with a pretty excellent special usage.
Yeah, and they're already ready to push in once again. That juice is online, so that quick respawn is going to be advantageous here. Carrying Pulp has a ball in their possession, but they are just not quite finding the footing to get out of their spawning area right now. They're trying to get the paint down, but Exopa just has so much control here, and they're working together so well, providing a lot of safe jumps at points too, and just trying to team up and making sure that they can take fights together. Carrying Pulp's got to be really cautious here. They got to watch their footing, especially because they don't have juice.
I do not. Like, every time they get taken down by that Inkjet there means they have to go the full respawn time, unfortunately. And with their comp with the Bamboozer, like, you kind of have to go for those team fights, have the player advantage, able to just chip off damage of each other. But unfortunately, Exopa does have the same strategy of that chip damage, just with extra range. They're able to chip damage Carrying Pulp up with range, so there's just some of those team fights tend to go in favor of Exopa, and then once they have those members down, it's just easy pickings to move in. But right now, Carrying Pulp is the one with the aggression here. They're able to get onto the plat, but before they can open the basket, that's going to be 3 members down, back to Exopa with control.
Yeah, Storm is a powerful presence here with that Tri-Zuka. Already on the cam here, we've gotten to see them get 3 splats, one of them being a double splat. So that's got to be feeling pretty good right now. The player advantage on the side of Exopa, and they're going to take full advantage, and the ball is missed. Carrying Pulp able to stop that push as quick as they can, and you can see the other ball that Exopa had in their possession is going to be forced to jump back to spawn. 30 seconds left on the clock here. Carrying Pulp has got a lot of ground to make up here, and Exopa is sitting pretty.
It's like, we're down to 20 seconds left, 9 points for Exopa, and Carrying Pulp has yet to even open the basket right now. Like, they are certainly on the ropes. Like, they have to have the biggest push in Splatoon history to bring this back right now. With 10 seconds left, like, they got to make a huge play right here, and it's going to be incredibly tough, especially considering what Exopa's put out right now. But that's going to be 2 members down. Like, they are slowly staggering out. They're not able to break this defense that Exopa has, and just the defense, or the overtime is ticking away.
Yeah, already 2 members down, 3 members down. Storm getting another double pick on the stream there. Carrying Pulp, they just don't have enough time to get back in there, Maddie. Just not enough time. I mean, oh my goodness. Not only was the aggression from Exopa there, but the defense as well. Honestly, the perfect balance.
Absolutely. It's just like, I'm trying to fathom this match that went down. Like, Carrying Pulp had certainly some good plays able to push back in, but it seems like every time they were able to make it onto Exopa's plat, they just ran into a impenetrable wall of a defense. Just the Zuka plays, as you mentioned out, and then the Inkjet as well was able to just keep them at bay, take down just enough members to not allow them to be able to have any sort of footing to make any sort of push. And so just once they were able to push them back, that's just all the space they need to get those power clams in.
Yeah, they just had kind of a rough time trying to bounce back from being either gently wiped to come back in and try to take a team fight together, and Exopa just had their number on speed dial, Maddie. If speed dial is even a thing anymore these days, but moving on forward, we're gonna go back into a double zone situation. We're looking at Umami Ruins here. It's easy to get locked out here, Maddie. Super easy for a lockout to happen. There's only one main entry point, and it's easy for it to, you kind of just have to bottleneck out and hope you can make your way out of the spawning area. So I think with the amount of poking and range damage that Exopa was bringing to the table here in that last game. I think that carrying Pulp is going to have to maybe rearrange and try to figure out what can they do to combat that here.
I have to agree with you there, Seth. Like, Exopa took such a early control of mid right in the last match on Museum. Like, that's what allowed them to just control the flow of the game, able to keep Pulp off balance. Like, carrying Pulp has to be able to take an early control, especially for zones. Like, they don't have enough range to contest them outright, but if they're able to get into that bottom, like as you said, get up into that the area underneath their spawn, they don't have to have extra range. They just got to be able to camp underneath those ledges and keep them from pushing back out. But the thing to watch out for is that Exopa was running a double inkjet, that rapid deco and the ballpoint, like including the splatter shot with the Zook. Like, they just had so much aggressive power, so like they were able to break hold anything that Exopa was putting out at them.
Yeah, and it's funny because carrying Pulp also had, it's like we were seeing short range poke damage versus long range poke damage. And the long range just kind of won out here. But Maddie, I hope you got your archaeology tools and you're ready to get some dusting of some artifacts done, because we're heading down to the ruins. Double T-Tech coming out on the side of carrying Pulp, and we're going to be running the same thing on Exopa here, because, you know, if it ain't broke, why would you change it?
Oh, absolutely. Exopa just running the same thing, but curious about the swapping to the T-Tech and Vanilla Shot right there. They're going to be going for a lot of paint right there, and potentially some breakout material. But unfortunately, that's going to be their Splatter Shot, and their Tetra is going down early on. That's the early advantage that we were talking about. That's going to be a wipeout off a carrying Pulp. This is not the position they want to be in. We already see Exopa pushing up to that bottleneck. We have the Splatter Shot on their snipe, just so much control right now. Once those specials come online, it is going to be hard to break out.
Yeah, that throw of that juice up there was kind of amazing. It went a lot further than I would think, imagine from that spot. But there's Storm Swipe opening the way for them to come on in and get a double splat there. You have Petu on that Inkjet, also applying a lot of pressure, just also getting pick after pick here. Double pick, nicely done. I mean, this is a snowball if I've ever seen one, Maddie, for carrying Pulp. Carrying Pulp's got to be really careful trying to come back out into here. They got to try to move in as a team and try to take Exopa one by one, and there we see it. They're able to break out. They got one member down, two members down. It's a 2v2 situation. Exopa finding themselves in the soft wipe, and finally carrying Pulp getting some points on the board.
That was absolutely huge right now. They were able to win their first push into mid, and like that is the key for Splatoon, is just being able to win as many of those entries into the zone area as possible. Like, if you lose too many of those, that's when the timer starts to run out against you. But if they're able to keep control right now, they have Exopa kind of pushed back right now. They weren't able to get much with that Inkjet right there, so they could potentially keep them out for the time being. But just the ballpoint wrecking havoc with that range, they are going to be taking control of the zones right here, and the ballpoint, or the Bamboozer, it's going to have to force it back up, and not before it takes one with it.
Yeah, they were able, not only were they able to back up and take one down, but they were able to get the Killer Whale online as well. Some displacement happening on the side of Exopa. You don't want to get hit by that and find yourself trying to run into the direction of somebody carrying Pulp. But Exopa having the zone in control once again. Helu Slay once again on that Inkjet, coming in and getting a pick there. They gotta be careful of this Inkjet, Maddie. They've gotta be so careful. These double Inkjets, I think, are just causing a lot of issues for carrying Pulp.
You know, there's a slight nerf to the Inkjet, but it is still immensely strong with in the right hands. Like, Exopa's just been able to utilize them, and just the fact they're able to stagger them, always have an Inkjet on hand when they want to do something. They're able to just keep carrying Pulp at their spawn. Like, that's going to be a delayed 3 down in the last 10 points. I think that's going to be a KO for Exopa. Yeah, they're just not able to get back in time.
I could see what they were cooking with that Trizuka. They were looking for picks and just trying to maybe find a gateway to allow their teammates to get in there and try to take some fights. But unfortunately, I mean, Exopa just had them from the jump, Maddie. They were able to spread out near that entry point that we were talking about, that bottleneck. They just spread out so perfectly, and we're watching all of the points of entry there. Carrying Pulp could not find their way in.
No, indeed. Like, we were talking about those bottlenecks, how carrying Pulp have to be able to take controls in order to just mitigate that range that Exopa was bringing. But Exopa just did the exact same thing back at them. Like, they got that early aggression, they got that early control zone, and they just made themselves at home and carrying Pulp's base. We saw the Inkjet and the Cooler in action. You pointed out that Cooler, I just love the fact that as soon as that was thrown out, it was just the green light for the Splattershot to move in and get the nice 3 down.
Yeah, they did not hesitate because it's fun being a Slayer with Cooler on your team because as soon as you have it, it's like, it doesn't matter if I live or die because I will just be right back where I started.
Exactly. Exopa getting a pretty dominant 2-0 against Carrion Pulp. Not the outcome I was expecting, but they are going to be moving into the finals against either Grimace Shakers or a Velocity, whoever wins up that matchup on the opposite side.
Yeah, and if we can take a peek over at that bracket right now, Maddie, looking over, Velocity has a 1-0 win over Grimace Shakers right now, so we are still in the midst of the battle happening on the other side of the bracket there. But carrying Pulp down but not out, Maddie. They're going to find themselves in as a contender for the 3rd place match. And similarly to, as you said, of who's going to be in finals, Velocity versus Grimace Shakers will also determine who will be fighting carrying Pulp in the 3rd place match.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it is still a top 4 contender here. And with the amount of high-level players that go into this tournament, like, that is still nothing to sneeze at. Like, you got knocked down pretty hard, but you still fought incredibly hard to get up to this point.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's always like a dogfight until you can get a dogfight to get to the top. It always is. And the 4 contenders that you see on this board here that got to the top, I mean, they fought hard for it and they are excited to be here. I mean, it's a really, really awesome feat to win in a tournament. It feels really good. It's a lot of momentum that carries you. It's good for team morale as well. So definitely looking forward to see what we're gonna be finding moving into this final round here. Exopa is gonna have a pretty fun time, I think, with either of these teams, Maddie. I mean, Velocity and Grimace Shakers both are so strong and have been so present in these weeklies lately that we've been seeing. So I definitely think they're no stranger to being on the stream and to fighting different contenders on the stream as well. So I mean, Exopa is gonna have a fun time, I think, no matter who makes it into the finals.
For sure. Like, whichever one ends up in the finals is going to be a fight to be seen, but we'll have to be seen in a little bit. We're going to go to a short break as that other matchup finishes out, try to figure out who's going to be going up against Exopa in this finals match. So stay tuned, stay hydrated, and we'll be right back. Hello everyone, welcome back to SOS 119. We are in our final matchup, Velocity versus Exopa. It is I, Mad Gamer Second, joined once again by Saf. Like this, we saw that last matchup of Exopa versus why am I already forgetting the name? It was hype. They came to play, so this is gonna be a tough matchup for sure, Saf.
I can't believe you forget how to carry the Pulp, Maddie. For shame.
I don't know what to say. It is words escape me. Like I'm already on to the next matchup.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, Exopa having tons of momentum coming into this final round off of that last game with carrying Pulp, but Velocity, Maddie. Velocity is also having a great time in this tournament scene currently over the last couple of months. They've got some good stuff cooking up here, and they're going to bring an awesome fight with us over to Exopa. They were able to successfully get a 2-0 over Grimace Shakers. So opening this fight here on Rainmaker Undertow Spillway, they got to be feeling good getting that win off Grimace Shakers coming into this fight with Exopa, but it's going to be a close one for sure, Maddie. Exopa is very, very strong from what we've gotten to see from Storm and Balloon and kind of what they've been cooking up here. But I think Velocity is going to give them a good run for their money. We do see this similar comp and the Luna Blaster! Oh! Oh.
I think I don't know if that's a no to the Luna Blaster or what, but if the Luna Rapid combo, why do I feel like I've seen that combo before on Rainmaker Undertow? Like that must be a Rainmaker Undertow thing because I have seen that combo before. I can't remember who was playing it.
There was a guest appearance on Velocity, or there was a guest appearance on Exopa by Toshi. That's
Whoops.
That's why we had to rearrange. Just
That
a
explains
little
the Luna
hiccup
Blaster.
there. Yep, that explains the Luna Blaster. That explains a lot. You guys can't hear this, but Toshi is cracking up in mine and Iman's ears right now.
I'm at a loss of words. Wait, oh my god.
Very,
Anyway,
very
game one, guys. Here we are at Undertow Spillway.
I'm
And no
thinking
Luna Blaster to be seen. Dang
Exopa
it.
should bring back the Luna Blaster. I think that's a cop-out. I think that they could have done something really fun and amazing with that, but nevertheless, Maddie, if you're seeing what I'm seeing here, we have Balloon on that machine. That is going to be super dangerous for Velocity if they are not careful.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the machine has been toned back, but it is still a fighting machine that you have to watch out for when they get those angles on here. And there's just a lot of angles to be had on the Undertow Spillway, especially with that ridge in the middle, one of the defining feature of it. Like, they're just able to get so much shape damage. And then we see them just going to town here. 3 members down off of Velocity. The last one's trying to go for the Rainmaker fight, but they just got too many members on them at the moment. So Exopa's just going to be pushing the left checkpoint, potentially trying to find an opening right here, but just Velocity is able to come back from spawn.
Yeah, super good Rainmaker defense there from Exopa. I mean, it was a free checkpoint for Gus to try to get in there and to grab that checkpoint, but Velocity now having the Inkjet online, they take 1 member out, take 2 members out, almost taking 2 members out. I blinked, or no, that is 2 down. That is 2 down on Exopa. They're going to stop that push at the 42 mark. They find themselves kind of over on this right-hand side here, trying to push the aggression of Exopa out of the way, hoping to get this Rainmaker pop online and going here, but I think they might be opting for the reset. They got to be careful, though, because if Exopa's going to find themselves trying to flank and get up here, could be a downhill battle for Velocity.
That is very true. Like, you expect with such a bottleneck of a stage that you can just watch the mid, but there's some sneaky players that can really get the flank going if you're not careful. But the Rainmaker is going to reset right there. But right into the arms of Exopa, they're just going to be able to pop that, pick it up, and throw out some Inkjets, trying to find some space. But the Inkjet does get taken down by Velocity, as well as their other try bucket. So now Velocity has a chance to take control of mid and the Rainmaker.
Yeah, and they're going to do just that, Maddie. They got the ballpoint moving up. They also have a jump coming in. That Trizuka online as well, trying to look for some picks there, maybe some poking, but not quite successful in it. But Exopa finding themselves in a 3-down situation. So this is where Velocity is going to really try to make or break this match right now. You can see they're trying to push up and get painted and get going. The Inkjet is going to be online here, trying to look for the fight. But unfortunately, with the Rainmaker carrier going down and their Guardian going down as well, Velocity Velocity's fight is going to stop prematurely before that checkpoint.
Yeah, that is the one caveat of Rainmaker. Like, even if you get 3 members down, just the 1 member can shut down a push if they're able to take down the Rainmaker carrier. So, Soba is going to stop Velocity from getting the checkpoint, but Velocity is still holding on, getting a solid control of mid-control, and able to just take 2 members of Soba down. Rainmaker is going to be set, going to be re-popped by Velocity, and just the paint they have. They just got to get their specials back online to start taking down Exopa, but Exopa has some defensive specials online as well.
Yeah, Exopa's not really being too afraid of this Crab, Maddie, which you gotta admire, because Crab is just so strong in this meta still. It still has such a booming presence. But with the Inkjet being in the favor of Velocity, you also have a lot of coverage coming in for that as well. But I believe with Balloon having the Booyah Bomb and the Machine, that's going to be a lot of shredding damage they're going to have. And then looking ahead here, Velocity is going to find 2 members of Exopa to take down. 3 members of Exopa down. Once again, Velocity has the opportunity to push this Rainmaker further, but with Gus being there on the bucket and trying to take this fight, they're able to take one, not successful in taking the other. I mean, Exopa is just going to try to play the defense here. They got to be really careful, Maddie, because Velocity has found them in a soft wipe twice.
That is so right, Sav. Like, that right checkpoint is great for the quick pop, but going back beyond that is just so difficult. Like, we saw the positioning that Gus was able to take up with the Tri-Slosher, able to just get the ledge advantage and not let them push it any farther. And on top of that, that's where going to be the members of Exopa is going to be respawning. Velocity is able to stop them before they're able to push back out, but they're basically just playing for time right now. We're down to 40 seconds. Both teams have had the checkpoint, but Exopa has that 42-point lead, and with the position that they took it up, it is going to be difficult to break that, I think, even though it is only 42 points.
Yeah, they definitely have a pretty decent lead. Definitely not too much of a lead, though, to get too comfortable, and I don't think they are, Maddie, especially because Velocity's been able to bring the fight to them and almost wipe them twice. So they really got to be careful with taking these fights. I don't think Exopa wants to go for the trades. They can, especially with this juice online, but I think nearing these last few seconds, they got to be really careful here.
Oh, absolutely. Like, they were able to take down the Rainmaker carrier, so the overtime will not kick in once they're able to take down once again. So it just those trades were not what they needed, and they did not allow them to happen. All members of Exopa were able to be up and just lock down the defense before Velocity can make a move.
Yeah, excellent gameplay coming out from Exopa there. I mean, I think that's exactly what they needed, Maddie, against Velocity. They needed to kind of stop their forward momentum and just get a solid lead and then just play the long game, the long defensive game, leading them into the win there. And I mean, moving on into Clamblitz on Humpback Pump Track, they're going to have to try to do the same thing here, I think. They're going to have to try to get a really solid lead and then just try to stall Velocity out, especially because getting close to a full wipeout twice, almost 3 times in one game is going to be super dangerous. And the fact that Velocity was still able to get some points, not able to get, like, I guess, the lead, I think is also very telling as well. So Exopa having a really strong defensive presence, but they got to be really cautious, I think, if they find themselves in that wipe situation again.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the thing with Humpback Pump Track compared to a lot of the new Splatoon 3 maps, like, it is a very wide map. You cannot push forward and play defense at the same time. You are going to have to take some risks when you make a push. There's going to be some openings in the defense if one member is able to sneak through and just break the basket. Like, we have all that left side around the corner. If you're up on your own flat, you can play defense, but you're just not able to take mid. At the same time, you have that right flank, although more difficult, can still be pretty detrimental if you're able to pull it off. So just, yeah, as you said, like, if they're able to get the wipe, that's going to be a huge advantage for just trying to make a push. But in the meantime, you got to be careful that no one's trying to sneak through.
Maddie, I gotta ask you, do you identify more with rock, paper, or scissors? Take your time to think about it if you need to, because, I mean, we're going to be starting this game here just in a couple of seconds. We're playing Clamblitz, baby. The best thing about this mode is that you want to get the wipe first. The team that gets the wipe first is going to be the most advantageous. That's going to be the most important and key time to get your score down and dwindling from that 100 mark. So you got to be careful in taking your fights here. And already on that right side on the overmap, you can see Sam going down to a 2v1 fight by Exopa.
They're getting the first blood, but they lose their anchor in the process as well. So it's still pretty even right now, still pretty scrappy in mid. Both teams just lobbying to get those clams out right now. Now, speaking of anchors, Velocity opted for the Tri-Stinger here. I feel like that's an excellent pick with just the bumpiness of this map. There's so many awkward angles that you have to get at with most weapons, but the bow just relishes that kind of arc, but unfortunately are going to be taken down by another weapon that has a fun time with these terrain. It's the sloshing machines and balloon.
Yeah, I just sat up a little bit seeing that. As soon as you said Tri-Stringer, I was like, wait, really? I missed that. I blinked and I missed that. There's a Tri-Stringer here. Yeah, the bumpy and difference in elevation on this map that you have is so important for buckets and for Tri-Stringer and for roller, but there is no roller here. Could also be really great for brush, kind of like your more advantageous non-shooter weapon type map. Still looking to try to get a score here, though. I mean, Exopa's got that power clam online. They have a pretty decent economy so far, just based on the amount of clams that people have at this moment here. Sam going to be coming out with that crab tank, but Gus looking in for the flank is able to take one down, but not Sam. Still a decent fight to be taken, though. That Exopa's trying to look in for an entry point here, Maddie, but I mean, with Velocity having that bow online and being able to kind of spread themselves out a little bit, I mean, Exopa's finding some trouble trying to push forward here.
Rather, they have been able to take control of mid several times, which is they haven't been able to really break through the last segment right there. Like, we see the brush just able to camp that jump. Even they got the 2 down with the inkjet, but just they weren't able to land successfully. The blue bomb is going to be coming out, but it's going to be broken by the Zook right there. 3 members down, just the ballpoint remaining. Like, once
what I was saying.
They're able to take control of mid, but then they're not able to get that last leg, and so they just kind of fizzle out.
Oh, they were so close. That's exactly what I was saying, Maddie. Velocity keeps finding themselves in a soft wipe situation with Exopa, and Exopa has got to be careful. They got to be so careful of that, because if they give them that advantage, it could be over. But it seems like Velocity just... they kind of just didn't take advantage of that, of the man advantage that they had, unfortunately, which sometimes can happen, especially when you have maybe your stronger player that pushes back there. But an excellent pick by Sam with that grab take there, just kind of shooting over the top. Going to be taking out that T-Tech, pushing the Trizuka out of the way, but Exopa's going to respond with a Trizuka of their own here, getting in some more coverage, and they do have a ball, and they're going to find themselves finally. We're getting some first points on the board, and we're like, we only have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, with the pace of this game so far, I feel like normally 71 is not a score you want to end with, but with how slow this game has been moving, this could potentially be the winning push right here. Neither team has been able to break through up to this point except for the one push by Zopa here. So now if they're able to play hard defense, Velocity is going to be stuck in a rut here, but they're fighting hard. That's going to be 2 members down, another member jumping out, and they have solid control mid. If they're able to just get through this last bit of defense right here, they could potentially bring this back, as I said. Oh! Wow, the turntables, Maddie. Velocity's going to find themselves breaking into the basket area here now. Unfortunately, not able to catch up with that lead just yet. They find themselves in the 3-down situation. I just blinked there. I blinked and I thought Exopa was pushing forward, but no, it's actually Velocity that's going to get some points on the board here. Again, a super low-scoring game, but we still have 50 seconds left to go, hopefully finding ourselves into an overtime situation. Both teams, just an absolutely killer presence on this map right now. Yeah, I just straight up commentated cursed the Exopa right there. I said that could potentially be the winning push, but Velocity took advantage of that soft wipe almost immediately. Broke it open the basket. They weren't able to get the lead just yet, but they have such a dominant force in mid right now that could potentially break it open again if they're able to just play their cards right. They're going to have to stay alive. We're down to 20 seconds right here. They have to be able to just find an opening, but unfortunately that is going to be 2 of their players down, and now Exopa has a lot of pick mid and a jump to the basket. going to break it open in the last 10 seconds, going to be pushing their lead by a couple of points, but if they just keep the clams rolling, that could just lead them to cancel overtime, and they do.
That was exactly what they needed there. They needed that that 2 down scenario, and then it was kind of the perfect storm, really. I mean, as soon as that 2 down scenario was in favor of Exopa, you saw the jump coming in to break that basket open with only 6 seconds left to go. So that was just very well timed out and played by Exopa there. Now finding ourselves in a 2-0. So this is match point, Maddie. Match point bringing us back into the market. We have our reusable bags. We got our reusable produce bags. We have our map of the market of where we want to go shopping today, what we want to buy. We're going back to Hagglefish Market on Splat Zones.
I feel like the main selection of the day is going to be fish, Saf. There's going to be a lot of fish on the selection.
It always is. It always is. And, you know, that's okay. That's okay. It's a great protein. Everybody, I think, should give food, any sort of food, at least one try before you knock it. And if fish is something that you struggle with eating because of the smell or what it looks like, grow up. No, I'm just kidding. But no, try everything once.
I do not mind at all. I'm a bit of a fish fanatic, so this is just a place for me. But I was going to say that we're going to be seeing a bit of a similar situation that we saw on Umami Ruins against Pulp in the last set against Exopa. Like, Exopa had such a dominant force because of the nature of the zone and just the nature of the map, just the bottleneck. They were able to push up so far that although Pulp was able to break out once or twice just for the majority of the match, Exopa was just pushed up onto the enemy plat, and they were able to just sit there just staggering the specials.
Yeah, they are very, very good utilizers of a bottleneck situation, and I think, oh shoot, what was the word that you said earlier?
Longular.
Longular! They are very, very keen on longular maps. I think, so I agree with you. I think Exopa is going to have a bit of a better time here with trying to dominate the opening very quickly. And Toshi, a beautiful little pan of Exopa coming out of the spawn there. Looking at the overhead map right now, I mean, obviously, neutral game just trying to get some paint on the ground. Of course, the whole point of the game is to paint the floor, but Splat Zones is a game of concentrated paint the floor in one specific area. So all specials online and in focus on the zone. Pelu Slay already looking over on the flank there. There's already 2 members of Velocity trying to flank, and one of them goes down, looking to pick for the other. There we go. Pelu Slay taking down the second member there of Velocity, trying to go in for that flank. But, I mean, Velocity has the hold on the zone right now, Maddie, so I think Exopa's got to try to get some footing here and break in, and that's exactly what they're going to do with this grab and this inkjet.
I was noticing, like, at the beginning of the match, it was Velocity that had the early cap out zone. I think they found Exopa's kryptonite. Like, we saw the Rangini pop there rocking that custom jet squelcher. That just completely shut down that bit of the zone. Like, even though they popped the inkjet several times, even the crab, like, just weren't able to push up enough to get the spots that they needed. Right now, Velocity has been taking down this zone timer since 100 unstopped as of yet, and they're pushed up so far that Exopa has not been able to break out. This is going to be a quick KO with a wipeout to finish it off.
I mean, it's in the name, Maddie. Velocity. They came at such a velocity, this one. I mean, they held on to the zone the entire time. They were in the right place at the right time, taking the proper fights, and they were able to stagger Exopa so beautifully there. Velocity is still in it. We're going into game 4.
Exopa has been on the warpath for these last couple of matches, but Velocity has broken the trend. These last 2 games, like, they had several close calls, but finally they found the footing that they needed. They were in the motion that they want to be in. We saw that, once again, just Exopa was trying to play the same formula that they were in those last couple of matches, but Velocity was able to keep them at bay just enough so that their specials weren't quite as effective as they wanted them to be in. Once again, just the range is zoning out so much of the area that they wanted, and just the crab fight just not going in their favor. Yeah,
and Maddie, I hope that you brought enough bags because we do have to go to the store, the market, a different kind of market, the Mako Mart, actually, to pick up a few more things for our tasty fish meal tonight. Probably some more logistical things, like maybe some utensils, maybe some plates. We're inviting everybody over, so we got to get some stuff for the party at Mako Mart, and we're gonna play tower control here. So the pace of the game is already set, Maddie. I mean, Velocity came in hot on that last Splat Zones game here, but especially with tower control, the tower will only move at 1 speed, so you really are just kind of victim and to how the tower will move onto the map here. But Exopa has had a really awesome tower control presence, especially when we got to watch them with Pulp last time. So the fight is on. The fight is on.
I think the key thing right here is, like, with tower control, that tower path is going to move up so close to the defending ledge that Exopa has, and Exopa has shown that they're so good at just taking advantage of the player advantage. Anytime that they're able to get 2 or 3 down, they're just pushing so far up and taking space as much as possible. So Velocity has just to get the jump on that, and they saw that in that last Zones game, so they have to pull that off again if they want to keep Exopa from getting too much momentum.
Yeah, and I like that they brought the bow out here as well, Maddie. I think this is a really good map for the bow to really shine, especially because there's just so many different little dropping points. However, Exopa's been running a similar comp throughout the evening, so they do have this double bucket running once again, and they also have that inkjet from the ballpoint as well. So I think Exopa's also going to have a pretty strong presence here that Velocity's got to be really careful of. There's Storm again with that Trizuka there. Exopa finding themselves on the first checkpoint now of Velocity. A lot of firepower coming out from Velocity, though, to try to maintain that space in front of that checkpoint, and the tower is going to go back to mid.
Yeah, we saw just Velocity just pouring out so many specials on that checkpoint. They were not letting Exopa take control or be able to even touch the tower. And so, combined with the fact they were able to survive everything that Exopa was throwing at them, they just were able to keep the tables pretty even. But now we're going to be seeing the 2 members going down, a third as well to that Zuka right there. And just, as I was saying before, Exopa so good at taking advantage of the player advantage, and now with the double bucket combo, they're just able to camp the ledge to their content.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely key for Exopa to hold on to. They just got to be watching that ledge area for the flank. But the fight is going to be brought by Velocity, though, as 1 member goes down on the side of Exopa, 2 members down on the side of Velocity, but the tower is in their control. They do need to ride it back into mid before they're able to put some points on the board here. But I think Velocity is still trying to look to see what fights they can take, Maddie. They're playing this a little bit more slowly and a little more cautiously, I think.
Yeah, they've seen what Velocity has been able to do, so just like they're not able to just run away with this match as they have in some of the other matches. So they have gotten the first lead, got the first checkpoint out of the way, but they haven't been able to gain much ground to do more than that right now. Even though, you know, Velocity down 2 members once again, Zopa pushing up to that ledge, Velocity has just been able to take what they have and just roll with it, not letting Zopa run too far away from it.
Yeah, and right now, finally, Exopa's going to find themselves on their way to that second checkpoint there. Velocity trying to get close to this tower, but Exopa's making it so difficult for them. Sam going to be popping that crab tank there. They want to try to push the members of Exopa away from that right stack there. They don't want to try to lose that positioning because that could be super detrimental for them, and they're almost successful in doing so, but Sam is going to have to retreat before they're taken out by Gus in the process. Exopa is just holding tightly to this tower on the other side of the map in Velocity's territory.
You know, sounds like one of the things I noticed early in one of the earlier matches, you know, Velocity is running that splash and tri-striker combo. That's going to be like a backline and a sort of supportive aggressor kind of play, and we have the two players that are to be up in Exopa's face versus Exopa's got 3 members that can do that. And so, like, I say that Velocity getting the nice wipeout, stopping that push before they get the second checkpoint, but I talked about these specials, like the usage of the specials and just taking space, but there's also just the fact that Exopa has 3 members that can just beat up in Velocity's face at any given point, and Exopa's got 2, so if one of those members goes down, that's going to be half their aggressive force out of the way.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out, Maddie, Exopa is really keen on their beverages. Not only do we have juice coming out from Gus on that Tri-Slosher, but we also have 3 Fizzy Bomb users on the side of Exopa.
Oh my goodness.
3 Fizzy Bomb users on the side of Exopa. So that's a lot of drinks and beverages if you're Exopa. They are the beverage kings and queens. But Velocity now finally finding some headway, getting some points on the board. Abysmal in that Zip caster formation there, trying to provide some distraction, maybe looking for a pick. They did get some damage, but not quite the pick that they were looking for. Storm trying to take them out though, but Abysmal's not going to let them have it. Gus taking some damage before taking them down. Velocity getting a good push to the 61. Still not quite enough though as we go into overtime, Maddie, and that's going to end right there. Nobody's standing on the tower. So Exopa taking this 3-1 in the swim or sink 119 grand finals. Looking good, guys.
Yeah, Velocity, they were coming in with such a force that they were able to keep Exopa from running too much away with it. Exopa going 3-1, but as we mentioned before, that number does not tell the full tale. You know, they had a strong start in Rainmaker, but slowly and surely Velocity was gaining control over them. Like that last tower control game, just a few more seconds longer, they could have gone a different way, but you know, Exopa just getting the slight advantage they needed to close out the set and take home the victory for this tournament. It was exactly what they needed.
Yeah, and I wanted to say too, congratulations to Velocity for coming into second place. And I think it's awesome that they were able to swipe a game. They wanted to be here for that game 5, Maddie. They wanted to take it all the way back to the museum and get that game 5 in. But I think they definitely gave Exopa a run for their money here tonight. And yeah, congratulations, Exopa. That's got to be a good feeling to get that win under your belt.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But that is the last set, unfortunately. Like, it was a hype set, but now that's the end. We're done. There's no more.
I know, that's all, folks. There's nothing else to see here. Maddie, let's use the shell-out machine. Let's do play of the day for Toshi. What do we got?
I'm gonna guess a banner. Dang it. It was not a banner. We got some... Ooh! Splashville's mincemeat, huh?
Toshi is mincemeat, confirmed.
Confirmed.
A picture to commemorate all of the memories. And there's that Luna Blaster throwback.
See, that's what I saw before. I've worked with Toshi, and perhaps possibly maybe, you know, cannot confirm this, but possibly have done the appearance in the match before on Spillway.
Maybe it might have happened. Only if you were on Swim or Sink 119 did that happen.
But you know, who can tell? You know, who could say for sure?
Yo, someone recruit this guy. FA post incoming to a Twitter post near you.
Hey, just
Maddie
introducing my quick respawn. There's never enough quick respawn.
Who needs juice when you have quick respawn?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
that's the juice of abilities.
But unfortunately, again, like
Our time has come to an end. I know. We just want to keep hanging out and chit-chatting all evening, but we can't do that, Maddie. The good folks have to go to school or go to work. I mean, it's not school. It's summer break. Well, who am I kidding?
You're right. You know what they can do, though? They can sit at home and prepare themselves mentally for Riptide in 3 weeks.
That's true. That's true. We'll see a good portion of you maybe on the internet verse when we start Riptide 2023, or you might be there in person. That's also a possibility. If you happen to go, me and IMAD will be there, so we'll hope to see you there as well. But Maddie, other than Riptide in a few weeks, where can the good people of the internet verse, the Splatoon verse, this community, this beautiful place that we live called Earth, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me in all the usual places, neck deep in Splatoon 3, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at IMADGamerII, as well as here on the Inkling Performance Lab. I do SOS quite freely. I pretty much live here now, but I am happy to work with the folks here, Saf especially. So, but yes, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on. It's still Twitter in my heart. You can find me on Twitter at Safirea.
That's
That's
right.
2 P's, 2 A's, 2 P's, 2 A's at Safirea on Twitter. Or, as we were saying before, you can find me running the streets of Sandusky, Ohio at the Kalahari Resort at Riptide in just a few weeks. Which, by the way, Maddie, did you know that Riptide 2023 is going to be the largest Splatoon land that we've ever seen?
I did
That's
hear a little thing about
insane.
that.
Very
Wow.
cool, very neat, very cool. And it's all thanks to viewers and land goers like you out there that love to meet up with your friends and play video games in real life. So thank you all so much. Swim or Sink 119, folks. Thank you so much to the folks at IPL for having us on tonight. Thank you so much, Toshi, for streaming for us this evening.
Of course.
Always thank your tournament staff and your streamer folks when you get to be on the mic or when you get to work with people. Always appreciate these folks because we do it for free. We do it for free. We take no money whatsoever, and we do it for you because we love bringing you awesome entertainment and Splatoon stuff. So have a great evening, everyone. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time on Swimmer
In 2
Sink.
weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
Have a good night, everyone.
Stand by for a raid. Alright guys, the raid has been created. Please send Rafa my best wishes in behalf of IPL and Swimmer Sink. It's a pleasure for streaming and spec camming with you guys. I hope the hand cam that I did, the tush cam I did, will be proven at least a little bit some help for future streamers. Indeed. Alright. Send Rafa my best wishes. See you guys next IPL tourney stream. Bye bye for now, and I'll see you whenever I show Paint or Jelly.
Bye, Toshi.
Good night.